Okay, I'm starting it right
Part of our democratic process, not a business, it's a public institution.
Okay. Now it's we're recording right now. You can see it red down at the corner of the frame. Can you see it?
We'll re-adjourn to... Oh, sorry. Everybody can hear me. Yay. Oh, here we go. Found it. Is that better? No? Oh, well, you get to hear me well today. Okay, we're going to re-adjourn to open session for the Rolling Unified School District Board meeting of June 14th, 2016 at 7:13 p.m. We will have our flag salute by David Malkin.
Before we start the flag salute, as most of you might know, today is Flag Day, and I thought I would share with you a little bit of information since we're an educational institution regarding Flag Day. So on May 30th, 1916, President Woodrow Wilson issued a proclamation deeming June 14th, which is today, as Flag Day. This day commemorates the adoption of the United States flag on June 14, 1777, by the Congress as an emblem of the Union. George Washington commissioned Betsy Ross to create the first flag, and since 1777, the design of the flag has been modified 26 times. President Eisenhower ordered the 50-star flag, which we have now, on August 21st, 1959. And of the submissions that were submitted for that flag design, there was over 1,500. There was a student, 17 years old, whose design was accepted. Robert G. Peck is one who designed the flag we have today. The colors of the flag have important meanings. This changes depending on what you look at on the websites. But typically, red symbolizes hardness and valor, and white symbolizes purity and innocence, and blue represents the vigilance and perseverance and justice. This flag represents our country and freedom for all. And at this time, I would like to take 5 seconds of silence to honor those that lost their lives in Orlando this past Sunday. Now please put your right hand over your heart and remove any caps you might have, and follow me, and I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malkin. Next, we have our closed session report. During closed session, the Board of Education took the following actions. The Board of Education approved the appointment of Tricia Kalela to the position of Education Technology Coordinator effective July 1st, 2016. On a motion by David Malkin and a second by Lynn Ebenkamp, the vote of the board was as follows. Angelina Pride, yes. Lynn Ebenkamp, yes. Carrie Chin, yes. Donna Friedman, yes. David Malkin, yes. The Board of Education approved the suspension agreement with employee number MZ548361 on a motion by on a motion by Donna Friedman and second by Carrie Chin. The vote of the board was as follows. Angelina Pride, yes. Lynn Ebenkamp, yes. Carrie Chin, yes. Donna Friedman, yes. David Malkin, yes. The Board of Education, on a motion by Donna Friedman and a second by Carrie Chin, took action in closed session to reject the bid protest filed by Icon West Inc. concerning the award of the contract for the district's Roland High School additions project to ACC Contractors Inc. The vote of the board was as follows. Angelina Pride, yes. Lynn Ebenkamp, yes. Carrie Chin, yes. Donna Friedman, yes. David Malkin, yes. Next, we have our board recognition. We'd like to recognize Donald Bernal for Presidential Volunteer Service Recognition Lifetime Achievement Award. The board will recognize and congratulate Donald Bernal Don Bernal, I'm so used to just saying Chief Bernal, on the receipt of the Presidential Volunteer Service Recognition Lifetime Achievement Award.
We have a guest this evening, Lou, who will be presenting this award and providing some background. If we have the board come forward, please.
So in 2014, I was appointed under the Obama administration to identify those individuals in the state of California that are deserving of recognition for service to their communities. The hours range anywhere from 5 hours a year on up to the Lifetime Achievement Award. In our last submission, we submitted over 300 applicants, and only 3 were approved by the White House. Chief Don Bernal was one of those 3. So I would just like to read to you a letter from President Obama. Congratulations on receiving the President's Volunteer Service Award, and thank you for helping to address the most pressing needs in your community and our country. In my inaugural address, I stated that we need a new era of responsibility, a recognition on the part of every American that we have duties to ourselves, our nation, and the world. These are duties that we do not grudgingly accept, but rather seize gladly, firm in the knowledge that there is nothing so satisfying to the spirit than giving our all to a difficult task. Your volunteer service demonstrates the kind of commitment to your community that moves America a step closer to its great promise. Our nation faces the most challenging economic crisis in a lifetime. We will only renew America if we all work together. Individuals, the private sector, and government must combine efforts to make real and lasting change so that each person has the opportunity to fulfill his or her potential. While government can open more opportunities for us to serve our communities, it is up to each of us to seize those opportunities. Thank you for your devotion to service and for doing all you can to shape a better tomorrow for our great nation, President Barack Obama. And just to give you an idea, Chief Bernal has, in order to earn the Lifetime Achievement, you had to have served over 10,000 hours of verifiable service. That was a daunting task for me to verify. But of the hours that I was able to verify, it was just under 15,000 hours. Wow. So Chief Bernal received the Lifetime Achievement Award. With grateful recognition, the Corporation for National and Community Service and the Office of the President of the United States honors Donald Bernal with the President's Lifetime Achievement Award for lifelong commitment to building a stronger nation through volunteer service. And again, signed again by President Barack Obama, 2016 awarded. So I would like the superintendent pin. He actually gets the presidential pin. So I will let you pin that. And in the midst of all that, if that wasn't enough, the city of West Covina gave him the Volunteer Member of the Year award as well.
Linda, do you need one? You just took it. Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's a tremendous honor. Again, congratulations, Chief Bernal. Next, we'd like to recognize and thank Santana High School for providing the refreshments at tonight's board meeting. Thank you, Santana. We'll now move into our reports. We'll start with the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. I will keep my comments brief this evening. We have a nice full agenda, but I would like to first start by congratulating our 1004 graduates. On June 3rd, I almost lost the timing there, we had our graduations for Santana High School, Nogales High School, and Roland High School, and 2 days earlier our adult school. So there were a total of 1,004 diplomas that were distributed from the Roland Unified School District in 2016. Also, the class of 2016 are the proud recipients of over $3 million in grants and scholarships for the students to continue their post-secondary education endeavors. So I think that's quite an accomplishment for 1,004 individuals to earn over $3 million in grants and scholarships to continue their education. Also wanted to note that we have a number of summer school opportunities that are taking place now in the district and will continue throughout summer. Right now, you can go to a number of different campuses across the district and see the academic programs that we're offering this summer, but you'll also see some unique opportunities. We have our Summer Arts Academy that's taking place. We also have our students who are in summer school able to participate in things such as makerspace, STEM, STEAM, also looking at opportunities for debate, for some CSI forensic work that they're doing. So there's a variety of unique opportunities to stimulate learning and opportunities for the students in the Roland Unified School District. So I would extend a sincere thank you to our staff who are providing those opportunities to our students and to our parents who have enrolled or volunteered to have their students participate in those summer programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go into our staff report on the Local Control Accountability Plan. Turning it over to Dr. Mitchell.
So this evening, Teresa Healy, our Assistant Superintendent of Education Services, will present to the board on our LCAP. And later this evening, you'll see in the agenda there'll be an opportunity for public hearing as it relates to the LCAP.
Wow, our microphone is really on tonight. I'm leave now. Good evening, board, superintendent, community. Thank you tonight for this opportunity to have a presentation tonight about our local control accountability plan. I feel like we're old friends with our plan already, but we're going to share tonight. Later in the board agenda, you will have an opportunity for a public hearing where you'll get to hear sort of one last time or almost one last time from the community if they have any input towards this plan. So I'm going to go through some information. So first of all, why the LCAP? As a reminder, it's the plan that reflects the district's programmatic and budgetary priorities. So it's important to note that after this presentation, we'll have a budget presentation on June 28th when we ask for approval. We will do that same thing. We will approve the budget and the LCAP at the same meeting because they do need to reflect each other. The other requirement of the LCAP is that we do our work around 8 state priorities. So we have to address each and all of the state priorities and make sure that they are fully covered as deemed appropriate by the county. We also provide a plan and a process that we have stakeholder input. We're required to report how our stakeholders provided input, provide accountability, and we have to address the needs of our targeted students. Our supplemental concentration dollars are earned by those students, and we need to support those students in their process of learning. So those 8 state priorities, if you follow along in the circle and you start at the bottom, it always seems to work really well. We're required to provide basic services, so we expect that students are in classrooms, that they have a teacher, that they have supplies. Going around the circle, of course, access, it's a requirement that students have an opportunity to have rigorous coursework. So a metric for that would be enrollment in AP or IB or honors courses, but not only enrollment, but success in those courses. So we need to do things that support them with that. We also need to support with remediation and support in other ways for kids who are not meeting our market grade level. As we look at school climate, we're required to make sure that our kids are in safe schools, that they have an opportunity to also create good values and good school culture so that it's a positive place to be. An expectation for student achievement, there's a requirement to look at our SBAC scores as well as interim assessments and then to do things to encourage kids to do well on those assessments. We look at student engagement, so are kids engaged on campus? Are they attending regularly? Are they involved on our campuses? Are they satisfied with what is going on our campus? There's a requirement for parent involvement. We expect that parents are good parents that support their education of their student, and so how can we support them to be better parents? How can we support them with parent education or opportunities to support their students? And then the implementation of Common Core student standards, again, as we continue to our transition into those standards fully, how do we support the teachers as they implement and support our students? And then there's the opportunity on priority number 8, where we get to, as a district, decide what our priorities are and what we would like for our students. And so we have items in our LCAP that do reflect what our community has shared. As we go through into the goals for the district, one of the things I'd like to point out is that there's a very nice alignment between our district goals, our LCAP goals, all of the plans and processes we're required to turn in that have goals, they all do align and come together. So our LEA plan, which is our federal plan, our LCAP goals, our district goals, our single plans for student achievement, our school plans, and additionally, when you see later tonight our future ready and technology plans, they all have this alignment towards these goals. And so I think that's very important that we have one direction as a district and we're moving forward with it regardless of where it is we're reporting or doing the work. So our first district direction is academic achievement for all students. We would like to provide comprehensive, well-rounded, rigorous educational experiences for all of our students, supported by engaging teaching strategies, sustained by high-quality professional development for staff. Again, looking also towards all students, but then especially towards our subgroups. District direction number 2 is about communication and collaboration. We're committed to having a culture of collaboration, open, transparent communication. We want to make sure that our stakeholders receive timely information and that it's a two-way communication process. District direction 3 is about fiscal responsibility. We want to be good stewards of our money, that we're using our money responsibly and raising it to the best service for our students. District direction number 4 is about student and staff safety and wellness, making sure that all of our plans and our practices and programs keep our students safe, we keep our staff safe, we keep them well. District direction 5 is about facilities. We want to house our students in clean facilities. They're adequate, they're safe, they're appropriate for the activity that we're conducting in the class. And then district direction number 6 is about leadership, that we know that we need strong leadership at the top, but we need it all throughout the organization. How do we continue to support and build that leadership? Incorporated into the LCAP. One of the requirements of the LCAP each year is it's always a rolling 3-year plan, so there's always 3 years in the plan. We never get done. It's like I found that little treadmill, we just never get to the end of the race. So we are required to report each year on last year, so in this case 15-16 school year that we just wrapped up, what we accomplished as part of our goals. So did we meet the plans of the goal? Did we do the actions that we had said? Did they cost what we thought they were going to? And did we get the results? And then what sort of adjustments will we make based on that? So if you look at the 16 to 19, that's so long ago, 16 to 19 LCAP that we are proposing, you will see the annual report based on the 2015-16 school year. Each of the items that were proposed in the LCAP, each action, we have to report on them individually, but within each action they're very broad. So it says things like, providing construction materials. And so we say what materials we provided, but again, a very broad brush stroke to that. And then we're required to report what we expect the dollars to be. It's not a final audit report, but it is a close assumption of where we will be at the end of the school year on June 30th. So we talk about program implementation, we talk about resource allocation, we look at our metrics. So we said that kids would accomplish this or do that, and so some of those metrics are not completed. For example, we don't have AP scores back yet, we don't have graduation rates back, we are waiting on some SBAC scores. I'm hoping that June 28th we will have those. So we're reviewing as many metrics as we can, and then that again provides information for us to make adjustments on our future plan. We have provided many of those metric observations and activities during the board reports during the spring. One of the process and pieces of the LCAP is that it's not done in isolation. It was done as part of our community work. So how did we gather the input for our 2016 to 19 plan? So first of all, we had 2 board reports. We gave you updates about where we were, what we had done in the LCAP, where we're in the process, and going with that. Additionally, we had 2 community meetings. Thank you to Roland High School and Gianna for hosting us. We had friends on both sides of town that shared with us, and lots of sticky notes on posters. We had 8 student focus group lunches. So again, my staff and the superintendent got to eat lots of pizza and talk with children. As in the past, we met with all 3 high schools. We met with both middle schools. This year, we added in our K-8 schools, which gave us an opportunity to also include some elementary students, and that added a unique flavor to the conversation. but it also gave us input that we're on the right track, that what we're hearing from our bigger kids, we're also hearing from our shorter kids. So it was a good add into the process. We also met with 5 of our employees groups, or in fact, we had 5 meetings where we met with them. We are required to meet with each of our employee organizations, so AREs, the SEA, and our ARA organizations, and to have that conversation about a meet and confer, which we did. But additionally, we had 2 open employee meetings, so again, employees can have an additional opportunity to share with us what they thought. We had 3 DLAC meetings. Our DLAC is our District English Language Advisory Committee. That is a required group for us to consult with as well. And so they provide information about our English language learners and how we are best supporting their students. Our Superintendent's Parent Council acts as our Parent Advisory Committee for federal purposes, and so it also serves in that capacity for our LCAP, and they represent all of our students and our at-risk students. And so both of those groups, as we go through the process, as they ask questions, we are required to record their questions and record their answers, and those are posted on our webpage. So you can see the conversations that have sort of occurred in the question and answer process with that. Additionally, we had a community survey with over 700 responses. We had students respond, we had parents respond, we had community members respond, we had staff respond, and it was a very nice mix of lots of people with lots of good ideas, as well as the many sticky notes in all of our other meetings. And then later tonight, we will have our public hearing, as I shared. As I go through each goal of our LCAP, first of all, you'll see that they are again aligned to our district focus and directions. But I'm going to share with you sort of what we've done for the annual report, and then also our future for the 16-19 LCAP. So again, our first goal is about academic achievement for all. We want to provide educational experiences for all students, improve our teaching strategies, create opportunities for kids to meet and exceed our targets. And that's in all of those areas that we've shared, not just on their SBAC test, for example. So our first area, and the bullet points you'll see on each of these slides, those are the big target areas of the LCAP. There are many lines of actions underneath each of those, but just to summarize for our purposes tonight. So our first one is about materials. We provided our K-5 math materials for all of our students. That was a new adoption for us this school year. Additionally, we piloted 6-8 math materials. We have provided supplemental materials in K-12, different opportunities for additional informational text, for example, either enrichment or support materials for students in specialized programs. And additionally, as you've voted during the school year, about some different AP textbooks as well. So that's what we've done this school year. As we look to the future for the plan, we will be adopting our K-12 English Language Arts through this next school year. We'll do a piloting purchase process next year. We're also looking at adopting a 9 through 12 math program. We're also looking at continuing review of our AP and also our ROP and career tech programs. And so you'll see course revisions and materials come through. The next step is professional development. This year we again continued our focus on Common Core, so training teachers continue to support them with that. We've added in some elements of the next generation science standards, so our science teachers, but also starting to include some of our elementary grades with that. We had a particular focus on student engagement strategies and student conversation, because we know that enriches both EL and at-risk students in their class and their learning. And so a focus on academic talk structures has been a piece of that. And additionally, our coaching process. We hired many TOSAs this year, 11 TOSAs, to support our teachers, and they have been out in schools and out in classrooms working with teachers. And so as we look towards next year, we will continue that coaching process and maintain our numbers with our coaches. We will focus on an inquiry learning model, so as we continue our work with the Common Core standards, we will add that model into our toolbox for our teachers. We will continue our focus on English learners and also incorporating technology. So that's the biggest focuses for our professional development. In assessment, we are continuing to align our work towards the SBAC and with our checkpoints and our benchmark assessments and performance tasks. Our groups continue to meet and revise and revamp and look at that data. Additionally, many of our schools are working on formative assessments, so they're having school groups, either grade levels or subject areas, come together and work on formative assessments within their school day. For interventions, we have piloted some systems this year, including iRead, System 44, Purpose Learning. We've also continued our work with Read 180 and Systems 44 is something we've been using. And we've also increased our summer school hours. Additionally, some of our school sites have hired additional teachers called impact teachers to work with at-risk kids in a small group setting. And we look to continue doing those pieces for next year, so rolling those over. Extended learning, we've offered opportunities, as Dr. Mitchell shared, for summer school, including Maker and at-risk summer school classes and our EL summer school classes, but also opportunities for our GATE students. Many Saturdays have had the opportunity to see those programs in place. And also for our special ed students, our extended school year, so providing them with additional days of instruction. As far as student support goes, we have maintained our counselor ratio. We have a very rich ratio of adults to students in our counseling ratios, and so we're very proud of that. And they're out doing good work, and we really work with them on targeting at-risk kids and targeting the kids that need their support. And I'm going to point out on each of these slides for the goals that down at the bottom there's an estimated expense, and this one's a very big ticket goal. This is our biggest ticket goal, is our biggest expense. But I want to point out to you that these include base dollars, supplemental concentration dollars, and federal dollars. It's not all of them, but it is the ones that are identified in this part of the plan. As we look, goal number 2, referring back to the district directions, we actually split goal number 1 into 2 because in this work with our LCAP is such a large piece of our work. And so in the LCAP, it actually is split into 2 goals. And so this goal is about college and career readiness. We're wanting our students to be able to complete the college requirements or the A to G requirements for entrance to universities. We want them to have opportunities for many AP, IB, or honors courses. We want to expand and enhance our career technical education programs. And we also want to increase our use of technology and our STEM in our schools. And so those are those areas that we heard loud and clear from our constituents on sticky notes out and about, and from our students as well. And so in career pathways, what we have worked on this school year, we've revamped, as I shared, some of our ROP and career tech courses. We have more students enrolled in our career tech courses, especially our senior seminar classes, and we continue that trend for next school year. We're awarded a CTIG grant, Career Technical Education Incentive Grant, that will help us also provide some funds to revamp and add additional pieces to our pathways. And so they will be more career relevant for our students in the neighborhood. On 21st century learning, we've increased our technology quite a bit. We've increased our professional development support for that. Brian Huff is going to speak to you later about Future Ready, so I'm going to scoot on down on my bullet list. Assisting kids with being college and career ready, we've spent lots of money increasing and improving our AVID programs, so getting more students in more sections. We've added a school year. Alvarado started their AVID program this school year and expected to continue and become more robust. All of the other schools have also added students and added sections. We also have implemented our College and Career Guidance Initiative, which is an online system for students to keep track of their college and career goals and gives them resources and assessments and things that they can plan and look to their future beyond high school. And so we've piloted that program this year. It's been in place with some pilot groups, and we expect to more fully implement that for next school year. In technology, we have done a device pilot this last spring. We have selected a learning management system. We have continued our communities of practice, part of our professional development, where tech-involved teachers are put together to share best practices. We expect to continue those pieces, so our ed camp, our ed tech camps, our ed tech institutes, continuing that process. And also we have a TOSA who coaches teachers on using technology, and that will be in place. And as far as student support, we focused some of the counselor work on this CCGI work most especially, but also supporting our HEIB and sending the counselors to the UC and Cal State conferences so that they stay current on the information. Goal number 3 is about communication and collaboration. In this goal, we heard very loud and clearly from our parents that they wanted more. They wanted education, they wanted communication, they wanted to know what fabulous things we were doing, and they wanted to tell us about that. And so we have done that with our parents. I believe that we got many kind sticky notes about the pieces that we had done with our parents, especially from our parents. We have continued our work with our Parent Involvement Academy, where hundreds of parents get the opportunity to come together and learn in a conference-style piece. We have provided our DLAC, our District English Language Advisory Committee parents, with some parent education they can take back to their school sites, so a trainer-trainer sort of model. Our sites have done a really great job of continuing to support our parents with both learning about Common Core, how to support kids with homework help, how to work with a dual language student or an English learner student, so many opportunities for that. And we expect that all of that will continue. Our communication opportunities, we have our website. We've made it more robust and more user-friendly. We have increased our social media presence quite a bit, and we continue to use our Let's Talk as a two-way communication tool. I know I get messages and questions and things from the website that they can just click a button and then figure out who it needs to go to, and so they don't have to try to navigate that system. They can ask the question and one of us will answer. Part of this piece too is that we really wanted to target our subgroups. We knew that we were not doing a really great job communicating with our at-risk parents or English language parents. And so we have done a lot of work with that as well, and most especially with our parent education program, so like our DLAG piece, for example, but also increasing our translator hours. So this school year, we increased the hours for our Spanish translator, and actually added a translator to be honest, we've almost doubled the hours, and we are going to increase our Chinese translator hours for next year. We find that as a need that we need to continue to support that population and give them more time and more communication. In goal number 4, as a district in the LCAP, they have the same goals for fiscal responsibility and facilities, but because there's not a lot of LCAP funds towards that, especially supplemental concentration, we combine them together. So we still expect that we'll be good stewards of money and we'll be fiscally responsible, and that our facilities will be safe and adequately maintained. And so we have done that with our maintenance department. They've done a really great job of really sprucing up our campuses, our streets, presence and appearances as we drive by is much improved. We've done a lot of cleaning up and just maintaining the program. We've had some additional dollars that have come in from the state for maintenance, and we've taken advantage of that, I believe, to best support our schools. Our technology infrastructure, as you heard a few minutes ago from Phil George about the increase in our land and our technology infrastructure within our buildings, but also from the street into our district, so being able to increase that. We've also had a very big increase in our Wi-Fi access points, so our wireless devices. As we increase devices at our schools, we need to increase access, and so we have done a good job with that, and we expect to continue to maintain and do that work. And then we've increased devices. As I shared earlier, we had a device pilot where we had opportunities to try out devices with students and make some decisions. Schools have also increased their purchases of devices, and so there are more devices in our classrooms. We have selected a learning management system, and then to go along with that, and part of that big price tag at the bottom, is that we have increased our technology staff to support all of that. That's very important because if we have devices, we want to make sure that they run properly and that they are used well. Goal number 5 is student staff safety and wellness. We want to make sure that our kids are healthy and they're safe, and our staff is as well. And so we have some key areas here to help that occur. The first one is support for our attendance, behavior, and character development. So that was a big community push, is that they wanted their kids to get character development. They wanted them to have that at their schools. There was concern for bullying in the sense that we want to make sure it wasn't occurring. We didn't feel that it was happening, but we wanted to ensure that it was not. And so a piece of that what we've done to do that is we've implemented the positive behavior intervention and support program. So we have broken up the district into cohorts, and so 8 schools have completed the first year of that training. So they have their base plan in place. They're ready to roll it out for the 16-17 school year. And it's about Tier 1 supports for kids, so teaching all kids what it means to be good citizens or to be safe or to be responsible. And each school's had an opportunity to create that system at their school where they instruct students on expected behaviors, they teach those expected behaviors, they support those expected behaviors, and it's a positive way to do it. And we will begin cohort 2 with an additional 8 schools in the fall. And then cohort 1 will actually continue into year 2 training and continue their process for Tier 2 and then Tier 3 supports. But as far as counseling, we have provided, besides the counselors at our school sites, we have provided opportunities and partnerships with outside agencies to help support some of our mental health initiatives and using some of those resources in our community. So a non-cost item to us, but a worthwhile piece to share about. Our staff safety and training, we've had safety training for our custodians and our maintenance department, our bus drivers. We've had an opportunity for some voluntary sessions with staff to work with either at-risk kids or students that are having an incident right then and how to best care for that. And so some different opportunities for staff as they felt the need to really support kids who might be in a situation that's unsafe. And then continuing to support our Family Resource Center. They still have some grant funding and other alternative funding, but we are continuing to support that. And as we look to next year, we will maintain their current staffing that they have now. Goal 6 is about leadership. And as we have shared, that we expect that we have great leaders at the top, but we also have great leaders all across the organization. And with that, we provided some professional development towards that. Most recently, we have run our Classified Leadership Academy, where we had an opportunity for our classified leaders to come together and learn leadership skills and to hone them and to practice with each other. We offered opportunities during the winter for our teachers, our classified staff and certificated staff to work together and collaborate and create some leadership within their work. We also provide early out and late start opportunities for our teachers so that they can meet together and collaborate and create best practices amongst themselves. We continue to recruit, hire, retain, and promote high-quality staff. As you look around the room at some of our staff members, you will see that that is true, and we continue to maintain those high expectations. We've provided opportunities for collaboration, so not only our early out and late start days where the entire staff gets about an hour and a half to come together and work together on various pieces, but we've also provided articulation days so that the teachers can come together and look at data and monitor and revise for themselves. We've also provided elementary planning time. That was new this year, that we put the 50 minutes of planning time in. As we look towards next year, we look to expand that time as well. And then during our articulation times, actually having students or teachers do some cross-school, cross-level articulation time. So really improving that process for teachers to work together and collaborate. And then we've had many opportunities for celebrations. We most recently had our 7 Golden schools. I think that's a pretty, and our 4 Title I achieving schools as well, so we get to celebrate them. And we've seen here at board recognitions, I think we've had a few long meetings where we've gotten the opportunity to recognize many students and staff, but additionally added our school sites, many celebrations, especially in this last month, of students receiving awards and accolades. And so we just started first to post on the webpage. It's already there. It was posted last week. So that is up there. The questions and answers from our DLAC and our parent advisory councils, both of those are up as well. And then there's an opportunity for if you have you'd like to make a comment about the LCAP, then there's a place for you to push the button and it goes into a special Let's Talk section, and you can put your response in there. So many places for the community to give us information or give us feedback on the process. On June 28th, we are going to ask the board to review and approve, and we're going to make a recommendation for that on June 28th for you to approve the LCAP. At that same time, right after that, we'll ask you to approve the budget. It is required that they are approved together at the same meeting. And after that, it will go to county approval, and they may look at it and give us some feedback, although they've had an opportunity to do so. And then they have to actually approve the plan to make it official. So that is our LCAP in a very fast talking nutshell.
Questions? Mr. Malkus?
Under with our current construction at Lohman High School, one of the things I notice when I go out and visit the classrooms is that there's a major paradigm shift as to what a classroom looks like with the LCAP and the new learning techniques and things. And I notice there's a lot of group work, discussion groups and things like this. Right now they're busy moving desks around and trying to form groups, and you hardly walk in the classroom. I would hope that when we remodel Lohman High School, when it comes time to furnishing that, we would take into consideration some of these goals that we have and see how we can support that with appropriate environments, including furniture in the classroom. Because the traditional desk model just doesn't fit today's classroom.
And in fact, if you walk in the new buildings at Nogales, you'll see that they do have different furniture and that the rooms are configured differently for that purpose.
The other thing is under Goal 5 with the Family Resource Center, many of those things I would believe would be supported by the concentration of supplemental funds. And because of LCAP and the need to focus on the foster child and special needs children, things like this, I would think that there's going to be more and more future use of the Family Resource Center in order to meet those needs in the LCAP. And I know traditionally they've been run by grants. Those individuals generate a lot of our budget with this supplemental and concentrated funds. And I would hope that they would consider that and the additional load that's going to eventually be placed on the Family Resource Center because of these demands, that they look at that and see if we have the appropriate resources there.
Back to goal number 5, counseling. Are we going to have more counselors available in the schools?
We do, in the current plan, we did not add any counselors. We're maintaining the ratio that we have. So the same number of counselors because our population is very close. It doesn't change the number, need for the number of counselors.
Quick question. Did you get results back from the survey that you were, not that you were looking for, but was the survey helpful? Do you see maybe changing it next year or?
Actually, it was interesting because this has been this isn't our first time of going out in the community, and I will say that about the community meetings and the survey, is that the first time it was, parents were saying, what do you want me to put on a sticky note? And we're like, tell us what you want, write anything you want on there. And they put things up there and they told us they wanted things and they ended up in the LCAP. And then last year it was some more of that. And you know what, you tried this thing, fix it this other way, and some of those things. This year we got more of, you know what, I noticed that thing happened and I'm glad it did. Or I noticed that thing happened and I want more. Or, you know, they could start to see the results of what they had put up on sticky notes, whether they themselves had put it up or not, but they had started to see the results and changes. And so we heard that, saw it in conversation, saw it on sticky notes, saw it on the survey. And I believe that that happened in the survey. Being at the community meeting or filling out the electronic survey, I didn't get different results. There wasn't anything completely different on the survey that I got from community meetings. It was very similar.
To add to your question, we are looking though at revising the survey next year. Now that we've used that same survey for a few years now, we're looking at a different format as we go and do this process in March of 17.
I have two questions. The first question is I have two questions, and the first question is about the estimate expenses. So each goal has the estimate expense. How do you get it? How do you estimate it? It's very hard. What's it covered?
So what I did was I actually went to the real LCAP and not my presentation, and I added up each line item to get to that place.
Okay. So this number should be related to LCFS.
It's more than the LCFF. So one of the things in our district that we have done before LCFF is that we had supported our at-risk kids or EL learners with different funding, whether it was base dollars or other categorical funding. And so we continued some of those programs, and so in essence they count and they're actions in our LCAP. So this is not just the LCFF funding or the supplemental concentration portion of the LCFF funding. It's either base money, it's supplemental concentration, and there are some federal and special ed dollars on there as well. But if you went to the actual LCAP, you could see exactly how much we spend for each item. And then actually the last, not quite the last page, but a few pages before that, it'll tell you for each goal, each kind of money that we spend, how much we do in total effort.
And my question is the community input to LCAP is very important, and as one of we have two sessions of not many parents or community members to show up, and I believe there's other channels to communicate with the district. Do you have any example? Do you take their input and implement to the LCAP?
I believe almost everything in the LCAP comes from there, yes. With the exception of, I think, elementary counselors, I think pretty much anything somebody put on a sticky note, you can find in our LCAP. I don't know, I think there's more specificity on a sticky note sometimes, like I want new library books at Jellic Elementary School, and we say here's some money for library books or supplemental books, but each item is in there somewhere. I don't believe that we have not done something that someone has requested, or it couldn't be in there in some fashion.
Looking at goal number 5, you talked about the FRC and that the staffing would remain the same. Are there any additional grant funds still pending for the FRC to be able to enhance their services?
I believe they're looking at some new funding grants but I do not know if they have been successful with that in the recent history, and I believe they're waiting for the results of one grant.
And so to add to that, if I may, that the FRC also was just recently received a 501c3 status, which will allow them to apply for a variety of different grants. Because many of the grants that are in what we would consider the social services arena require that the actual agency, not the school district, but the direct deliverer of services is a nonprofit. And so they have just received their 501c3, which opens up another window of opportunity for a variety of different types of grants.
That's great news, thank you.
And if I can add to that, not just grants, but additional funding as well.
Funding, right, yeah. Thank you. And then to piggyback on something that Mr. Chin just said about participation in the process at the parent meetings, and I know I attended the meeting at Giano, and we didn't have the crowd that we would like to have had. Have we considered incorporating it into student performances to get the parents to come out?
Yes, we have. Yes, we've looked at all different ways to try to get more participation into those events, yes.
Are we going to try any of those next year?
Yes.
Okay. Any additional questions? Well, thank you, Ms. Healy. Next, we have a staff report from Alex Flores, our Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services. While we're waiting for our technology to get working here, I would like to say that I'm happy to see so many people out after school is out, that you all came out to the meeting for whatever reason you're here. We thank you guys for being here, and we also are glad that you're here so that you can get to hear some of these wonderful reports as well.
I just came for a free cookie. I haven't.
Is it double imposed?
Yeah.
It's
Double
it's double imposed.
We're
Sorry.
We did reverse this. You see, there's two pages.
Exit gracefully, so we come up with it, we staged this, we performed this. Thank you for your patience, I truly appreciate it. Good evening, Board President Pride, Board members, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, Cabinet, and all the guests who are here tonight who want to know about our fiscal conditions in our district. Tonight's presentation will center on the 2016-17 budget. The budget is a living document, and the budget cycle is a process that is constantly in motion. As you can see, we're here sharing the budget and LCAP for the next fiscal year. The next step will be to approve the budget at our next board meeting on the 28th of June. The budget cycle has 2 fiscal years that are always crossing over. The audit process has begun for the 2015-16 school year, which will be finalized this fall after unaudited actuals have been presented and approved by the board. As we look to the checklist of required budget action reports, again, we are here today receiving an overview of the proposed 2016-17 budget and LCAP, and holding a public hearing for each topic. Mr. Hart and his fiscal department prepared the budget using the best available information provided by the California Department of Education, Los Angeles County Office of Education, Department of School Finance, School Services, and also from the presentation at the Governor's budget presentation. The 2016-17 budget. I'll provide a quick overview of key topics: the LCAP funding review, unrestricted revenue and expenditures, restricted revenue and expenditures, the LCAP coordination within the budget, and the multi-year projections. A little history lesson. In 2013, the governor established a new distribution system for the K-12 public school funding. The new distribution system was called Local Control Funding Formula, LCFF. The change came after 40 years of using revenue limit calculations, where every district in the state received the same increase regardless of the student's population. LCFF was designated to target funds to students impacted with lower socioeconomic status, English learners, and foster youth. Under LCFF, all students generate a base grant. Those students who are impacted receive a supplemental grant, which is equal to 20% of the base grant. In addition, districts like Roland, who have large student populations of targeted students, defined by the state as a district with an unduplicated percentage above 55%, receive a concentration grant which is equal to 50% of the base grant. RUSD has an unduplicated count percent of 73%. Education funding has increased over the past few years, and there has been 3 major reasons. Prop 30, the strong economy, and for these same reasons, it can impact future increases for us. We know the economy is slowing as supported by the reduced projected state tax revenue and the fact that Prop 30 will sunset in the near future. LCFF is almost fully funded. In this table, please note the blue lines that represent the original LCFF implementation schedule when first introduced. If the state had implemented using the blue lines, the district would be 38% funded towards LCFF target in 15-16 and 50% funded towards the target in 16-17. The green bars represent actual results as identified in this year's May revision. We are 84% funded towards the target in 15-16 and 96% funded towards the target in 16-17 based on the May revisions. This leaves the LCFF only 4% from being fully funded with 4 years to reach the goal. Unrestricted revenue for 2016-17 is projected to be a little over $136.7 million. Please note, this also includes one-time funds for this year. This pie chart shows the percentage of funding that makes the unrestricted general fund revenues. LCFF base is 79%, and LCFF supplemental concentration is 16%. Unrestricted general fund expenditures are projected to be a touch over $136.7 million, with a little over $104 million related to employee salaries and benefits. This graph represents expenditures for the unrestricted general fund for 2016-17. A school district is in the business of educating students, so naturally it takes people to accomplish this goal. All people inside and outside of the classroom. We are in the business, we are in the people business. It is at no surprise that salaries and benefits are approximately 77% of the unrestricted general fund expenditures. We project expenditure will be slightly below revenue, with a slight ending balance growth of a little over $48,000. Our ending balance will be close to $27.5 million. Most of the ending balance will have an assignment, will be assigned in different areas. I would like to highlight two areas: the emergency disaster and safety. We as a district need to improve our earthquake supplies, our supplies for extended lockdown, video equipment to video our investments in our schools and for the safety of our students, safety vehicles, and other safety supplies. We also have set aside funds for future technology needs. Examples of additional base expenditures for the 2016-17 budget are salary increases, step and column, health care, and increase in pension rates. Examples of additional supplemental and concentration expenditures are additional professional development, class size reduction support, intervention programs, technology, and instructional programs. Restricted funds are received for a specific use and must be spent in a manner to complement with all applicable rules and regulations. We project $40.1 million in 2016-17. This pie chart illustrates the restricted funding for 2016-17, with 10.2% being federal and other state being 31%. Please note the largest portion is from the general fund contribution, which is 43%. Expenditures are projected to be $40.1 million. As with unrestricted funds, the largest portion of these funds are spent on people, 71%. We are projecting a balanced budget with restricted funds. Along with the 2016-17 budget, we also submit multi-year projected budget for approval on June 28th. Here are major assumptions used to develop the budget for the district. As you can see, decline enrollment has been factored into revenue calculations. Please note, the district has not felt the impact of our decline enrollment because the additional or accelerated gap funding has minimized the effect. With the district projected to be 96% LCFF targeted funded, the remaining funding will not offset the revenue loss because of declining enrollment. Again, a big factor that can impact school budgets in the future is the fact that Prop 30 tax increase will sunset in 2016 for sales tax in 2016 and in 2018 for the additional income tax for high income earners. From workshops I've attended, if the high income earned tax is not extended, school districts will suffer. This will have a negative impact on our budget and all school districts in the state.
May I add something? Mr. Flores and I attended the conference in Sacramento, and our lobbyist was saying how important Proposition 30 will be, and the governor decided that it was going to be temporary, hoping that it wouldn't renew, but we're hoping that it will help the school district if everyone goes out and votes for it and it passes.
Also included in the multi-year projections are future district contributions for both STRS and PERS. Using 13-14 as a baseline year, the percent required by the district will increase by 11% to 19.1%. This will have a compounded cost of $9.38 million by 2021. Note next year also, employees will be paying more for their STRS also, and were notified in their last pay warrant. For PERS, the rate increase for 13-14 to 2021 will be close to 9%, or a compounded increased cost of close to $2 million by 2021. Our multi-year projections will reflect a balanced budget for the next 3 years, with a slight increase in the ending balance. But if you do note in 2018-19 in revenue, that's where you see that a decline in revenue, as I stated earlier, with the effect of our decline in enrollment, that we'll be seeing the first effect of it. The multi-year restricted funds are projected to have a balanced budget the next 3 years, with the amount received being the amount spent for the students for that year. Almost. I'm proud to share this presentation tonight with the board and with the community because it reflects and addresses the needs of our district, supporting our students and our valued team members in a responsible way with a balanced budget for the next 3 years. This concludes my presentation.
Sorry. Questions? Mr. Malkin?
Just have a couple questions here. We just had the presentation earlier from the LCAP, and the question was raised by Mr. Chen regarding the expenditures that she had in there. In your report, you're showing how much money we're going to be getting from supplemental grants and concentration grants, which are focused for specific population groups. How do we know that that's balanced, that what's in the LCAP is getting that the budget monies that are being generated are getting to those students that need that money in LCAP?
Well, there's a process, approval process if it's personnel that goes through Teresa's office and everyone, but specific funds are earmarked and tagged, and it's Fund 666. So we can run a report to make sure the funds are being spent for, sorry, it's the number it was. We're gonna change it next year. So the ending 3 digits, I'm sorry. That's how we can track it to make sure that the funds that are allocated are being spent for those areas.
Because I was thinking of Go 5, which had Family Resource Center, PBIS for safety. On the LCAP, I think it had $4,419,619, but concentrated funds are generating almost 22 million. So there's a big gap between 4.5 and 22 million, but I assume those other concentrated funds are being used for other services for those focus groups.
Yes, throughout the whole LCAP. Matter of fact, this year, the question that Mr. Chang asked also about how much funding we're spending, we're actually spending more of our base funds this year and next year for supplemental concentration activities. About $500,000 more this year, and close to $1 million next year projected base funds to support the concentration and supplemental programs. Because we know that the additional fund we'll be receiving in the future, a lot of them will be the supplemental concentration side, not on the base side. So we're actually spending the money in advance using our base funds to serve our targeted students.
That takes me to the next question.
I was going to say that there's a lot of the supplemental concentration money is in goal 1 because we have to show academic improvement and growth for students in all categories. That the funding is intended to provide additional academic support services for students, and so much of that 21 million is in goal 1.
Now, when we look at the reduction of student population, is that based on the reduction of student population in the 73% that's generating these monies, or in the other 17% or whatever that's not generating the supplemental concentration? How do you figure out how much to reduce it by, because you don't know which students are generating those monies that are leaving?
Yeah, until the actual year when you do the analysis, get the applications back to you apply it, but you use actually the 73% right now as calculated projections. Proportionally, yes.
And the last one is safety. As we're all aware, that came up, in negotiations this year, and it was very vivid this weekend. And I would hope that we would look at our safety elements in the LCAP and make sure that they're up to date and that they meet current needs based on what's happening in the world today. Because I think safety is really needs to be the number one focus, in our education process. If we don't have a safe environment, then it's hard to have an educational process. So I really hope that the safety is up to date. That's it.
Thank you for all your hard work. The one that has the green bars, the progress toward LCFF implementation, does that mean that we're right on track 96% the rest of the years too, because we're doing everything right?
It means that the state has actually had more income, more revenue. So what the governor proposed to have this over the course of 7 years is, because a lot of times when you get funds up front, but you're still going to have some bills down the road, you have to make sure you project for them, you plan for those bills, because those bills will still be there. One of the biggest ones being the STRS and PERS liability that all districts have with the increases down the road. So we have to project that, and we have to make sure that these funds that we're receiving up front will still be there to pay those bills down the road.
Thank you.
All these numbers are related to the number of students we have, so I'm very concerned about the kind of enrollment. We don't keep the trend of declining enrollment that we're going to have crisis. So I'm going to share with the superintendent we need to offer more attractive programs and attract more families and kids to our district, and stop the decline in enrollment or slow down it or increase our enrollment, and otherwise we will have face crisis.
There are different contributions for decline enrollment. Sometimes when real estate markets get more expensive, new families cannot afford those, and that's why you don't have new families. But we 100% agree with you that we have quality education here at Rolling Unified School District, and we just don't want people, we want people here to get this quality education that is provided by our fine teachers and our support staff every day here in our district. So we 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I understand. There's several factors, there are different factors. And the aging of the community is also the contribution, and the employment is also. But we have decided we need to save the district to keep more kids enrolled. So we need to offer good programs, and that's our job.
Page 14.
Sorry. On page 14, that first figure, that 27.5 million, does that include the two figures below, the revolving cash and the state, the 3%?
Yes, it all adds up to 27 million.
Okay, that is. And then on the next page, when you talk about additional base expenditures for 16-17, where it talks about increases, additional base expenditures, you talk about increase in healthcare benefits. If there's no change in CAP, how do you explain increasing in healthcare benefits?
That's an excellent question. 40% of our employees who are eligible for benefits take the single benefit plan. So there's $11,000 for the cap while they don't use the full $11,000. So every year when there's increases to benefits, our portion for those 48% increase, and we have to calculate and budget for that. Matter of fact, I just received from a staff member the increases for STRS for next year that just came out today. And STRS person, excuse me. And they increase quite a bit. They range from a -10 to up to, for health benefits, up to like 15% in the HMO, and in the PPOs they go from like 2% to at least 6% increase. So those increases, if you're capped, will be absorbed by the employee. If they're not fully using the cap, will be absorbed by the district.
Well, David took one of my questions and Lynn just took the other, so I have no other questions. But I do want to say thank you to you and your staff. The past 2 years have been the most reflective and transparent budget presentations that I've seen in this district in a while. So we do appreciate that, and we appreciate the detail and your willingness to answer questions as they arise. So thank you both to you and your staff for all your hard work on this. Next, we have our staff report on our technology update. Mr. Huff. If the technology works.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Fingers crossed. All right. Good evening, board, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, and cabinet, members of the community. I am looking forward to giving you an update tonight on our future-ready planning in 3 areas. The first one is our update on the 21st century classroom enrollment, the work we've been doing this year. The second one is an update on our recommendation to migrate to Gmail. And the third is an overview of the requested resources for next year based on our future-ready planning for this year. This has been a very full year in educational technology. A lot of work done by teachers and staff at the site and district. A couple of pilots, a lot of planning work done on Future Ready, visits to Cupertino, a lot of really good foundational work setting us up to move forward. Tonight I want to give you an update on two of the pilots. The first one was the 21st century classroom. So back in November, Dr. Mitchell charged us to identify a standard 21st century classroom enrollment. We surveyed teachers, 395 of them responded, and using that data, the EdTech committee moved forward with identifying a plan to identify a standard device, student device, for grade spans, K2, 3A, and 9-12. So we identified, we worked with the sites to identify 2 teachers from every site, 3 from both comprehensive high schools. And over the course of 5 weeks in April and May, after a lot of behind-the-scenes planning with Alex Flores and Phil George and Kurt Schlatter and their team, we rolled out carts of student devices to all the classes that I know you saw evidence of in the back-to-school or the end-of-year nights at the sites. And through that process, we also surveyed students and had focus groups and met with teachers. And so as a result, we, at the end of the process, we are recommending the following 3 devices to be standard student device enrollment. So at the TK2 level, an iPad. For grades 3 through 8, a Chromebook 11. And then for grades 9 through 12, a Chromebook 14. So we share this tonight to prepare you for a lot of orders that will be starting to come in the next month. The district is preparing device orders for the instructional programs next year. We want to align the rollout of technology at district level to our instructional initiatives next year. And then also sites have been doing a lot, been patiently waiting for this process to go through, and have worked with their site teams to allocate money for technology expenditures. So they will also be sending over the next month to June 28th and August 9th board meetings, likely be sending a lot of technology orders for the following year that will align with the new district standard device. The second pilot that I'd like to update you on is the learning management system. This has been a long process as well. A year and a half ago, a group of teachers in the ed tech community practice looked at 5 learning management systems, and over the course of a semester narrowed it down to 2, Haiku and Schoology. And this year, we piloted Haiku in the fall with full integration with Aries and Google Apps. And then in the spring, transitioned over to Schoology. And at the end of that process in April, the pilot team met together, broke into 3 groups, and each 3 groups out of 3 recommended Schoology. So at the end of this month, the June 28th meeting, we're working on, we'll be bringing to you a recommended contract to partner with Schoology in a phase-in approach over the next 3 years. So we'll start small the first year and then build up over 3 years as we train teachers and build capacity to use this new system. Also an update on the migration of our current email system to Gmail. Mr. Flores and Phil George and Kurt Schlatter have been working very diligently with the stakeholders in Roland. First, starting with establishing a steering committee in April, surveying employees, and then analyzing that feedback with the steering committee to then make the recommendation tonight to move forward with migrating our local email service to Gmail. With the purpose of lowering costs to the district and also integrating with a lot of the educational work that's been going on and using Google Apps for education. So the use of Gmail is going to help teachers that are starting to use the tools of Google Docs, Google Forms, and a more integrated system and support their instruction as well. So we're bringing that recommendation to you tonight. And then finally, you can see a list here of all of the resources that we are requesting for next year, for 2016-17, based on the Future Ready planning process. As I mentioned earlier, the top one, the carts of student devices, we will be submitting orders in June and August from a district level for carts of the standard student devices now that have been recommended and identified to align to our instructional initiatives next year. We'll also be bringing a contract with the Learning Management System Schoology for next year. Part of this Future Ready work was to look at ways to personalize professional development. So we will be continuing to look at ways to personalize that process for teachers and all staff in the district. I want to thank you for approving the Coordinator of Educational Technology, and Trish Kalila. We look forward to her coming on board and helping move this work forward as well. We're very excited about her joining the team. And then also, thank you for the continued funding of the Teacher of Special Assignment. You may know Brandy Miller, who has stepped in that position this year. Has done a fantastic job and will continue to support teachers in her role. Also want to thank you for 2 years now sending a team to the Q National Conference. It really is the highest quality conference in the nation around integrating technology, and this year we were able to send very large team, and so we're requesting that funding again for next year to continue that practice and bring a whole new batch of teachers into that experience. And then finally, potential partnership with Power My Learning to further close the digital divide at 2 pilot schools. So we'll be bringing a recommended contract to you at the end of this month. Power My Learning is a not-for-profit organization that uses philanthropic money to provide laptops to parents in Title I schools, along with training and support. So we'll be providing a lot more details for that during this month.
Questions? I'm gonna ask mine first. One thing I do want to commend you on is, or the district on, is that after the Cupertino visit, it was very exciting to see some of the things that I was able to see there already implemented in the classrooms when we went to the open houses at the end of the school year. So definitely excited about that. I have a question about the recommendations that you're making for which products to use. Did you choose the iPads for TK through 2 because they're more durable, or are they more user-friendly? What was the reason for choosing each one of these for that grade level?
So we gathered data in 3 different sources. What did the students say? So we talked to students a lot, we surveyed them. We talked to the teachers that piloted the device. And then we had teachers come together at the end of the process and have a conversation and look at the data for 2 hours and then make a recommendation. So from those 3 data points, starting with TK through 2, the students identified the iPad, appreciate it. Developmentally, it's a good device for them to approach. Also, at that age, the ecosystem, the Apple ecosystem of apps for education, it just doesn't compare. It is not a system that compares to that in terms of providing literacy support and math support and applications for education at that level of student. For the Chromebook, the students, by and large, if you look at the data from the student surveys from 3 through 12, chose the Chromebooks. If you ask them in person, which I did a lot when we would walk around in classrooms, they would always say they wanted both. They wanted both the iPad and the Chromebook, but if they had to choose between which one would help them with the learning most, it was the Chromebook. A lot of it is because at that age, when they start to create, they need an embedded keyboard to create some of the stuff that they're needing to create for their schoolwork and for their own learning.
And then what about the pricing and how we went about making sure that we get the best price since we are ordering in such a large volume?
So yes, we reviewed several products, and if you, I don't know if I've included the cost on this latest board update, but the Chromebook 11 this was one of the lowest cost Chromebook 11s that we had at $195 during the pilot period, and they were just offered a decrease in that to $190 per device. And then for the Chromebook 14, HP is at $245, I believe, per device. Compared to the iPad, which is at $495 for the iPad Air 2, which is the device that we chose and will be going forward with.
I can add, just to run the cost factor part, our purchasing department with Rosanna McLeod will also be looking at volume pricing and trying to negotiate. Apple does not negotiate in their prices. And HP, we go through a third party because they don't deal directly with the district. But we do anticipate, and as Brian had quoted those prices, that does have some volume to it. And then with each of the devices, we are buying carts for charging carts, and so that's an additional expense. But again, there's some volume to it.
Actually, I only have one question.
Very anxious.
If you can answer this in a very simplistic way, what was the major reason you went with, the teachers went with schoolology?
Schoology.
Schoology.
I said
I'm sorry.
Schoology for going to 2, yes.
I didn't think it was right. And haiku.
Okay. So some of the key things that came to the surface a lot in our conversations. One, Schoology has a native app, so that is important when you're looking at using. A lot of students use their mobile phones now to access homework and assignments, and so having a native app on their phone that was just not available in Haiku, so that was a big plus for teachers. If you look at the format of them, Schoology, I mean, Haiku is very slick, it's very clean, and it's very approachable. Schoology is set up as a social media format, so the students also felt like that was an accessible format for them to jump in and start having sort of discussions and collaborative dialogue around topics and assignments. So that was another key point. What was another one? That's right. So one of the main differences that we felt like from district level too was important was Haiku is a closed system. So when you adopt Haiku, then you're able to create content and share among your own colleagues in your district. Whereas in Schoology, it's an open system. So the contents and units of study that teachers would be developing in Roland would be able to be shared outside of our district and actually worldwide. It's a company that is used by school districts around the world. And then likewise, our teachers would be able to pull and draw from content and units of study that have already been developed from school districts in Idaho and New York and other Common Core units. So those were three big ones.
Did the students have input, or just the?
They did, yeah. And the student input is around the format of it, and also the access to the app on their phone when they're at home. They expressed. We didn't do a formal survey, but we did. The teachers did bring that feedback to the April 23rd meeting.
Back to the iPad Chromebooks, and how are you going to do with the existing equipment? So we have a lot of we just recently bought a lot of Chromebooks, different model, Apples, and what we do.
Yeah, so the reality is we have almost 8,000 devices in the district. So this will be a standard that will be for going forward. The technology department has done a lot of work during this pilot. One of the outcomes was to get a standard device. It was also to look at systems and processes to help the rollout of that in an ongoing way. So one of the things that Phil George and Kurt Schleier did was set up a mobile device management system that will help track and also push out new apps and software and then over the next year, the plan is to bring in all the existing devices into that mobile device management system so that every device that's in the district now will be in one system. Yeah. But the reality is there will be a period of time when the existing devices, we have a lot of Acer Chromebook 11s at Jellic, for example, and those will be still available, and students will still use those in their classroom, and it's not a huge leap for students or teachers to use an Acer 11 alongside the HP 11s because the Chromebook's a Chromebook. But there is a concerted plan to get all of them on the same mobile device management system.
I just don't see the waste of money that was spent.
No, they will all continue to stay in use. They're not,
Okay, that's good.
I don't have a question, I have a comment because I went to the Roland Tech Night at Roland Elementary that you presented, and you started with a question that was very interesting. How was it when you were in third grade compared to school now? And so all the parents, everybody walked around, because I know in third grade I had nothing like this. Well, that was a long time ago, but that was very interesting. And then you had mentioned that there was 8,000 devices, which means half of our students in the district have devices, which means that's going to go way up, which is outstanding. And then you mentioned what parents need to know, and you showed 12 websites. I only knew 3 of them, and so I'm way behind. And then you mentioned an author Skyped with the students at Blandford for an hour, so it's good to know that maybe more of that will go on in the district. So thank you. It was a great presentation to the parents. I just wanted to say that. I learned a lot more about technology in our district, and we're going up. Thank you.
Mr. Malkin.
Oh.
I want to compliment you on getting student input on the devices, but I'd also love to be there when you interview the TK to 2 kids as to which devices they want. I'd like to see that interview process, but I think it's great that you're getting their input. A couple of things. First of all, I don't see anything about printers on here. Nowadays, printers, when you have like 3D printers and things like this, is there any interface with printers on any of this? And are we buying printers?
There are there'll be a lot of technology that will continue to be not on the district standard that every student will get. So things like the 3D printer, other technology that will be used in maker spaces and new ways that teachers are engaging students in technology. The technology does have a standard list of, for example, like dot cameras and projectors and 3D printers. I didn't list those in here because it's not something that will be buying standard in every classroom going forward.
Yeah, because also going to be another thing is overhead projectors. The classrooms are kind of a requirement almost now. It's no longer a luxury. So that would all come under technology, wouldn't it?
But
the other thing, you talked about the inventory system. It's a big hit to have to order all of this at one time. Is there a plan to phase these out as they get old and phase in new ones so we're not getting a big hit every 5 years or every 3 years? Because I'm assuming that some of these, especially the TK to 2, they get quite a bit of use and a little bit of a beating, being dropped and stuff, so they're going to have to be replaced. It'd be nice if we could replace them incrementally rather than all at once.
So the initial plan now is on a 3-year cycle, so next year we would start with rolling out devices to align with our instructional initiatives. And the following year, doing a staggered rollout with certain grades, alternate grades the following year, and a 3rd-year refresh cycle. So a 3-year cycle of refreshing devices.
And are these meant to be taken home by the students, or are they meant to be used here only in the classroom?
So this year 1 will be aligned to instructional initiatives in the classroom. So they will not be the students will not be taking them home next year.
It is something for the future we're exploring, an option that students being able to take.
Follow my own advice. The opportunity for students to take devices home, but it is not planned in the 16-17 school year.
Okay. Because I would hope that when we do that, it'd be interesting to take a survey. We automatically take for granted everybody has internet access, and there's a lot of people that don't. And so it'd be interesting to what resources our students have at home, that if they're able to take these devices home, will they have the support that they need in order to use them at home? So, the other thing is security, internet security on these things. Not so much in the younger ages, but as we move up to high school, access to different websites and things like that. Is that built into this?
So there is a district filter that's regulated and monitored by technology staff. On the educational side, we're also this year put into place some digital citizenship curriculum because we know that no matter how strong the filter is, there will always be a way to get around. And so we're taking a two-pronged approach. We're on the technology side, building a very strong filter and monitoring that, and on the other side, teaching our students to be good digital citizenship, to be able to recognize things that are not appropriate, to report them when necessary, and to also behave appropriately online. So there's a K-12 developmentally appropriate curriculum for every grade level that will start to roll out in the fall.
And then finally, as we depend more and more on technology and projectors and screens on the electricity becomes our lifeline. If there's a blackout or we lose electricity, is there any backup on these, or are these running off of batteries and then we charge them at night and then so they can run during the day?
That's right. So they're all chargeable, and the carts we're purchasing to go with the instructional programs next year will all be charging devices at night.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Friedman?
I spoke to a teacher at open house, and they said that they had the option, the parents, to buy the computer. They paid so much a month at the end of the year, they could have that. Is that like school-wide rather than district-wide, or that won't be an option for next year?
That's not an option for next year, but I think there are many different ways that districts have different approaches they've taken, and I think as we go forward, we'll be looking at all those options.
Okay, I was just wondering. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. Great work. Mr. Chen?
What's the estimated life for these devices after years?
So we're looking at a 3-year life device, a 3-year life. Yeah, my laptop I've had for 6 years in the district. Just got a new one, but these new devices, we're planning for a 3-year refresh cycle.
So the surplus after 3 years?
What's that?
The surplus 3 years after?
You never circulate, you keep them until they die. When they die, they're dead.
Thank you. Next, we'll have our elementary music education report from Marian Kim.
Big loud.
Well, good evening, Dr. Mitchell, board members and community friends. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm here tonight to give you information on our current program and update you on proposed expansions to our elementary music program. So as we take a look at our current program that we have right now in our USD, beginning in 4th grade, students can elect to participate in our current pull-out music program, which offers us the students an opportunity to participate in band, strings, and even at some schools we have mariachi bands. And that starts in 4th grade and goes through 6th grade. In grades 7 through 8 currently, students can choose a music elective class of either band, orchestra, or choir, and this is in their regular 6-period rotation day. And again, at some schools we have mariachi. And in grades 9 through 12, students can also choose a music elective class, again, a band, orchestra, or choir. That's currently available to our RUSD students. And to give additional support to our elementary and intermediate students, they can also participate in an after-school program to further enhance their learning in their band or string or mariachi instrument, and I believe that takes place on Thursdays currently after school. That's part of the pull-out program. They can participate in that after school. So as we take a look at music expansion, how this became a topic, it became a topic as stakeholders requested looking into a music program that would not require our students to have to choose between either the classroom instruction time or music education time, because currently students are being pulled out beginning in grades 4 through 6 if they want to pursue an instrument. And also stakeholders have also requested that we look at how could we possibly expand our program to offer more music to our elementary students. So taking a look at that, because currently we have in our 4 through 6 students, about 17% of our 4 through 6 students are participating in the elementary music program. So some of the proposals based on the following parameters that we took a look at were that students in grades 1 through 6, so all students now beginning in 1st grade, would have an opportunity to participate in music education, which we know music does benefit our students both academically and artistically, and that all students be given a chance to participate in music without having to choose between coming out of their regular day classroom and missing out on academic instruction and having to choose between the two. Either I go to music or I stay in my classroom. This would give students a chance to go and participate in music without missing out on the core instruction. And that students have instruction taught to them, the music instruction taught to them by either a music expert or a teacher credentialed in music. So as we take a look at the attended outcomes, we took a look at the California framework for VAPA, the Visual Performing Arts, and we know that if students are given the opportunity to have visual performing arts in their education, it helps them to develop artistically and gives them opportunities to develop self-confidence and also experience a sense of accomplishment. We know for many of our students, music is where it's at for them, and music really drives them. So that's some of the intended outcomes. And also taking a look at the framework, it states also that when you begin those programs, beginning at the early grades, it gives the students valuable knowledge and skills needed to express their ideas. They can be very creative in how they express their ideas, both in the verbal and the nonverbal ways. So taking a look at the planning process, the music teachers were asked and invited to come to a meeting to hear about the idea of the expansion of music, and to hear about the purpose for it, the rationale, and to give input and to give feedback. And through these meetings, 2 committees were formed, our curriculum committee and a logistics committee. They formed and they met a few times. The curriculum committee was charged to take a look at the materials that were out there to support the standards, our California VAPA standards, which definitely supports the student learning and the lesson development behind it. And the logistics team, they came together to take a look at how could they schedule these things so that we could make sure that our students not only maximize their student learning time, but increase their exposure to music. So as we take a look here now at a proposed program, and just to clarify, these are just some proposals. Decisions haven't been made yet on this, just some proposals here. The first proposal being that beginning in 1st grade, that students receive general classroom music. 50 minutes a week, this would be part of their regular classroom instruction. And again, this would be taught by either a music teacher or a music expert. So that would be for students in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grades. Beginning in 4th grade, students could still have an opportunity to participate in a general music instruction time or participate in learning a wind instruments or a recorder, and also participate in our strings or mariachi program, which are in place at some schools currently. Students who are in grades 5 through 6 would also have those same opportunities. They would be able to select general classroom music if they did not want to participate in choosing a string instrument or a band instrument. Students could also, again, have the option for mariachi. This would be part of their 50 minutes during their regular classroom instruction, and again, always taught by that credentialed music teacher or music expert. So with these proposals, there are no changes planned for students in grades 7 through 12. And they would still have those same opportunities that I mentioned before, that they can choose a music elective that would be part of their regular 6-period day, which consists of either band, orchestra, or choir, and again, mariachi. And students in grades 9 through 12 could also continue to choose a music elective during their regular 6-period rotation day. And also the same opportunities that are there for students right now in elementary and intermediate who choose to participate in the after-school, once-a-week additional support, that would still be available to them. And I believe currently that program is still offered to parents, and it's at a no cost to families. So if we take a look at the work the curriculum committee did, they relied heavily for grades 1 through 6 when taking a look at general music. They relied heavily on the California Visual Performing Arts Framework and Standards. And taking a look at that, the teachers were able to look at the standards to see how we can introduce the students to rhythm, the music, singing, bringing all of that into a classroom music program. And for grades 4 through 6, teachers would continue to use the current music curriculum that they are using to provide that instruction for their students based on the instrument that they have selected. So we know that Roland Unified has a very strong history and support of music. We know also that a few years ago, due to the state budget cuts, that our music program was reduced. And so our RUSD stakeholders have asked that more music return to the students. And so as we take a look at some of the guiding principles at 48, 9, as they get higher, we take a look at making sure that we have enough teachers there to support the program.
And that's including the 3 teachers, that extra teachers that we're hiring.
That we would need to look at.
If it's possible, I would like to make a direction if Dr. Mitchell could look into hiring a possible another teacher to see what the class size would change to try to get lower, if that would be possible.
Sure, we can explore what the cost would be and what the impact would be for an additional teacher.
Okay, thank you very much.
I have to say, I've devoted many, many hours for the past week on this. A lot of input from various people, and it's been very educational for myself. To summarize it in a nutshell, class size is an issue. The assignments to the current teachers is an issue. And the process on how we came about this program was an issue. I hear what you said as far as the planning, but I think what's important is how the individual perceives what took place, not just what actually took place. So sometimes, the perception is just as important as the process. And I'm hearing loud and clear from the perception that they felt it could have been done differently. I think, we could learn from this experience. The one good thing is that everybody I've spoken to all feels that positive about expanding the program. The debate is how to expand the program. That seems to be the issue. And I look back on our recent experience with our bargaining, with interest-based bargaining, and how successful that was. And I think that we can learn a lot from that process and utilize it here, where different people come to a table with different ideas, put it on the table, and discuss it, rather than throwing demands back and forth. I think we benefit greatly from that. I also think that we need to look at the resources that are available, not just staffing, but instruments. If we have a bigger demand, that we have instruments for this, but also the supplemental resources. I see you got a curriculum committee, but that curriculum is going to be based on books, music books, or whatever. In the past, I've gone to, what do you call them, book shows or whatever, where you have different vendors come in and shows available. I don't know if we have time to do something like that. And how do you select materials to support the curriculum in such a narrow amount of time? So that's, I think, is an issue that we're going to have to address, is how are we going to support this curriculum to get this going when we want to get it going without delaying it. Mr. Chen talked about the declining enrollment, and I see what our surrounding districts have done with music, and I definitely feel that music is one way to increase our enrollment. So I think that's going to be one thing that's going to help it. I was here when we had the old program. My son was in the district, and having a 6 months alternating between PE and music, this is a step ahead since we have it for the entire year, and I think that's a positive. The situation with the strings instruments, I understand there's some need to tune those instruments each time, and it takes about 10 minutes. So having a 30-minute pullout and tuning instruments for 10 minutes leaves very little time for instruction, whereas the band instruments don't need to be tuned necessarily. so they can get right into learning. So I think we need to look at, flexibility there, whether it's a band or whether it's string instruments. But more important than in all this is that our intermediate and high school music program is going to be dependent on the foundation we build in elementary school. And if we don't build a good foundation in elementary school, those programs are separate. So I really think that we have to make sure that what we put into place in the elementary school is a solid foundation. Otherwise, not only will they suffer, but our intermediate and high school programs will suffer. So I think we really need to look at that. I want to, I've been telling a lot of people, we're not here to take a vote on this. We're not here to say what we have is bad and this is better. Obviously, what we had before is excellent because we've gotten awards for it. We got the Golden Bell, for in the past. So, but things have changed. Things are totally different now. Donna mentioned that tech night. The question was asked, what's different now than when we were in school? So what we had 20 years ago isn't necessarily what we want in place today. So we need to make change over time. And this is an opportunity to make that change. And we need to embrace this as an opportunity for change rather than dig our heels in and fight it and not have change. So I encourage everybody to work together. And if we keep our eye and focus on the student, I think we will all be winners. Thank you.
So most of you guys know that my daughter is a music major right now at Cal Poly Pomona. She got her start in music from the Senate at Shellen. She was just singing the words to the play Go West last weekend when I was reading her some of the emails that I've been receiving. And I'm thrilled with the music program that she received here in the district, from the plays and the musicals at Shellen to show choir at Alvarado to show choir at Roland High School, which ignited that passion in her and has allowed her to pursue it. However, had she had the opportunity to have music from first grade, might have been even better. So I do support music for all students. There is one child who has gone from Shellen through high school with my daughter. They're still friends, who did not have the opportunity to participate in the music program when she was at Shellen. She didn't start until Alvarado. And she always says, man, I wish I would have been able to do that at Shellen. I wish I would have been able to start earlier. I wish I would have been able to sing in the plays like you did at Shellen. So I think that it's important that we provide that opportunity to all of the students as early as possible. And it was an amazing experience, not just for my daughter, but also for me as a parent, to be there to see all these, plays and everything. Just a couple of weeks ago, one of the things that came back on Facebook memories was from one of the plays at Shellen for Chinese Dynasty or something. And I screenshotted the pictures and sent them to my daughter and said, do you remember this play? So, as a parent as well, it's amazing for us to see our children participate in the arts. So I do support a music program for all students. And I do hope that everybody can work together. We know that there's differences. Everybody, has their idea of what they want to see and how they think it should be implemented. But I think that the one common denominator is that none of us want to deny the opportunity for all of these kids to have music. And like Mr. Malkin said, the bottom line is that these are the feeder programs into our high schools. When my daughter was in show choir at Roland, they were winning lots of awards, and we want to see that continue. The Nogales band, at Macy's. So if we're getting these accolades with the kids starting at, 3rd or 4th grade, imagine what can happen if we start them at 1st grade. So we definitely want to support this, and I think this board fully supports seeing the cabinet and the teachers work together as quickly as possible to get this program implemented and move it forward. And I do think that it will be another winning program for us. And I think that it will be something that one day we could possibly apply for another golden bell for a new program. So if we all just look at making it the best program that we possibly can for the students and try to work out our differences, that will be what's beneficial. And my daughter, our deal was she could major in music, but she had to also get a teaching credential. So, you know, you never know. This might be a program she's coming to teach at one day. So, and she would be thrilled to do that. But I do want to see this program be successful. We do support our teachers just as much as we support our cabinet, but we want to see this program move forward. We definitely think that it is the best for our students. With that said, I have a question. What is the difference between a music teacher and a music expert?
A credentialed music teacher.
Okay, so one has a credential, one doesn't. Okay, that was my question. So I thank you, Ms. Kim, for that report, and hopefully we'll hear some good and positive things coming forward about this program. Okay, next we have public comments. Written requests to address the board. Remarks are limited to 3 minutes unless extended further, or limited by vote of the board. A maximum of 20 minutes unless extended by the board is allocated for each subject discussed. Ordinarily, board members will not respond to presentations and no action can be taken. However, the board may give direction to staff following a presentation. Mr. Humphreys?
There were 15 people ahead of me, so let them go first. I came in like last.
We have multiple on subject matters, so we're trying to make sure
I don't want
we
anybody
adhere
to
to
think that I'm stepping ahead of the line. I don't want to step ahead of the line. Okay, so just let them go, because that wouldn't be right. They got here first.
Shay Lohman?
Good evening, board. Dr. Mitchell. One of the common myths about the field of education is that we get summers off, but for the vast majority of us, that's simply not true. And as you look at tonight's agenda, we're in the midst of planning for next year and reviewing what we had last year. So I want to start by thanking the administrative services team for putting together an excellent budget presentation tonight that actually reflects reality. For years, the association has advocated for accurate budget projections, and this multi-year projection that we saw tonight definitely reflects that. In addition, I'd like to thank the team for their quick distribution of retroactive and one-time payment checks for our employees. Tonight, the board will vote to adopt the LCAP. The association appreciates the level of input that we've been able to have in this process. But as we continue to go forward, I look at how we can together increase the amount of community participation in this process. Stakeholders, including ARE, that have been active in recent years in the LCAP process, have consistently advocated for an expanded music program. The association is very pleased to see the idea of an elementary music program that reaches more students, and we hope that a collaborative approach will bring about a program that will have a great impact on this community. As we reflect on the prior year, it is common practice for ARE to conduct a final survey. We are still in the process of collecting responses and hope to deliver a brief presentation to the board with the summary results at a future board meeting. But I'm pleased at this point to report that over 80% of the respondents have indicated that they are happy working in their current job. That's fantastic news. The survey is also pointing out to us, though, a number of issues that we will continue to look to make a focus for ARE as we set goals for the 2016-17 school year. One issue that we see coming up over and over again is creating and maintaining a safe learning environment. Student discipline, or lack thereof, is becoming a major issue that will have an impact on the quality of education that we are able to deliver. Another key aspect of maintaining a safe learning environment is ensuring that we have proper supervision of students. The board has presented a letter from the transitional kindergarten teachers across the district. The teachers are lobbying for extra supervision for our youngest students. As we expand TK to younger students, it's important that our teachers have the proper supervision in the classroom to ensure a safe learning environment. A second issue that's presenting itself in the survey is a lack of leadership at some of our sites in the district. The association looks forward to working with the district and site leadership teams to create an environment that empowers educators with the support of administration to create rigorous and relevant learning environments. We must continue to work to foster positive relationships between management and those that they manage, and between all of us as employees and the communities that we serve. As always, we thank you for your service to this board, and we thank you for your attention to these very important subject matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lohman. Mr. Humphreys, I'm going to ask if you can, other speakers are by subject matter, and there's 2 subject matters we'd like to keep together, please.
For you, because you're special.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, I'll try to be brief tonight. One thing, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde is not an acceptable format in my mind's eye. Trading off the good and the bad behaviors is not acceptable. And perception is everything. And number 1 is the responsive information requested from the superintendent regarding the Nogales boosters is a forensic audit red flag alert. No date and no signatures on principal documents denote profound incompetence at best and warrants further investigation. Number 2, the Macy's Day Parade documents regarding board member Carrillo is now listed today at the back, all the way at the bottom of the end of the documents here today, and listed under conference. And Mr. Jim noted to me that he was pre-approved for $2,000, and now you're doing this approval situation, not approval, but it's a conference notification for $1,700. This just has red flags running all over it. And we're doing this 6-7 months after the fact of what there's supposed to be a 14-day limit on that. Item number 3, which was more appalling, the failure of and or the go pound sand response by the superintendent on last month's video discussion, or the board members of the 3 sisters voting to allow this type of behavior to go on. That's called subterfuge. Based on the, item number 4, based on the performance of the commissioners at last month's meeting, Judy Nye and Sabrina Lee need to resign immediately. Based on the performance of the superintendent and Mr. Bixler here, as the attack dog mode on that was reprehensible at the very least, and consideration for them to find another place to hang their hat, because character does count, and those items that you have on your core values should be something more than just ink on a piece of paper. And Ms. Pride, you do a great job for what you do, but Mr. Malcolm needs to take over the principal job of board president and get us off into the 21st century. On the item of POs, here we have over $10,000 miscellaneous to Amazon.com. That's red flag audit situation right there, and it just smacks of fraudulent behavior. Also, the hundreds of thousands of dollars in miscellaneous expenditures, and also that I thank Mr. Malcolm and Ms. Friedman for running for this, because as you probably have ascertained, I have very little tolerance for this malfeasance and reprehensible behavior of persons in positions of responsibility. And just remember, folks, everything I say is on video. It's on YouTube. You can see it all. Okay, and thank you very much.
Thank you again for going out of order, Mr. Humphreys. I really appreciate it. Next we have, hold on. Richard Shermer, and I apologize if I pronounced that last name wrong.
Are you ready? Here we go. I want to take a moment to thank the school board for 36 years of unparalleled support to the children who comprise our award-winning, unique elementary instrumental program. You guys have been fabulous. Thank you very much. Without your support of the exclusive notebook, the only one of its kind in America, we could have not won the Golden Bell that used to hang over there. It's gone now. Nor would we have received the many county awards, letters of praise from 2 California governors and Ronald Reagan when he was United States President. But now, as the song says, the times are a-changing. Recently, the superintendent has told us the program is converting to music for all 1st to 6th grade children. Sounds great. Everyone gets to have music. I completely support expanding the music program. But to provide general music, plus the once-a-week band, strings, or mariachi would require additional teaching staff. And thank you, board members, for mentioning that. I'm here to encourage the board to provide the additional teachers to teach the expansion program. Currently, we have a wealth of instrumental teachers who teach in elementary and 7th and 8th grades. It would be a shame to move this talent to the classroom program, or worse, chase them from the district, because they are not teaching their passion and what they have been really trained to do. I commend your efforts to expand music to more children, but please maintain a strong elementary instrumental feeder program for the competitive high schools. Please continue meetings to see if there's any way to provide 2 lessons a week during the school day on the instruments as they receive now. It's like learning a new language, and the best results happen more than once a week. Also, the proposed plan does not differentiate between beginning and advanced players. You do not ask algebra or language teachers to teach Algebra 1 and 2 together, or Year 1 and 2 French in the same class. Please research this program for quality to provide the best instruction for the children of our school district. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next we have Karen Blackburn.
Thank you. Again, my name is Karen Blackburn, and I'm currently an elementary band teacher with Roland Unified School District. I was also, though, a music planning specialist way back before they cut it in 2008. I did that for 11 years, K through 6th grade. And I believe, and as do the other music teachers, that to have an effective program, it's optimal to have 1 class per teacher. And the administration is proposing as many as 52 students per teacher. We've already kind of talked about that. Just because the contract says 52 doesn't mean that will lead to an effective music program. It works for PE. It works great for PE. But the quality of music in our district will be severely impacted by teaching so many students at one time. According to the state standards, at the 5th grade level, students are required to read, write, and perform major and minor scales. This level of expertise could not be achieved in huge classes with limited opportunities to correct errors. Students are required to compose, improvise, and perform basic rhythmic, melodic, and chordal patterns independently on classroom instruments. Again, this would be impossible in classes of 52 students that are seen once a week. At the 1st grade level, students are required to read, write, and perform simple patterns of rhythm and pitch using beat, rest, and divided beat. If you have ever had the pleasure of working with 1st graders, you know that the other 51 students aren't going to sit quietly while you help one child. Children in the lower primary grades need a lot of one-on-one attention and feedback. The teacher will need to hear what the child intends, then offer suggestions to improve the quality of the work, and then have the student try it again. Smaller, not larger class sizes are especially important at all elementary grades, because that is when the foundation for all future learning occurs. Many studies from all over the country show that smaller class sizes show benefits in higher grades. Students achieve increased test scores and better attendance. Smaller rather than larger class sizes have been shown to especially benefit those students who have had the most struggles in education, like English learners and impoverished children. Shouldn't we be doing more for them and for all of our students, no matter what their background, rather than less? Studies show that students in smaller class sizes are more likely to interact with the teacher rather than sit passively. With smaller class sizes, teachers are more able to diagnose student needs and differentiate instruction. Studies show that students spend much less time off task in smaller classes. And finally, classroom management becomes a bigger and bigger problem the more students there are. When a teacher can spend less time on discipline, more learning will take place. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Darlin McGrady.
Hello. My name is Darlin McGrady. I was hired as a music planning specialist beginning with the 1993-1994 school year. Currently, I'm one of the RUSD instrumental strings music teachers, as well as the choir director at Oswald Academy. Please allow me to give you a short history of the music program for RUSD when I arrived on the scene all those years ago. In the 1990s, up until 2008, every classroom teacher, 1st through 6th grade, had one 50-minute planning time per week. During the teacher's assigned planning time, the students were brought to the music specialist for a music lesson. We taught everything from music history, theory, notation, rhythm patterns, dance, singing, recorder, and playing simple percussion instruments such as rhythm sticks. In addition to this absolutely wonderful music planning program, the district also provided the award-winning band and string pull-out program for 5th and 6th grade students. This program consisted of Richard Shermer and Laura Tovar driving the famous, or infamous, blue buses all over the district, providing band and limited string program to hundreds of students per year. In 2008, the district eliminated the music planning program along with the specialists, leaving every elementary staff member to find creative solutions with which to honor the teacher's contractual planning time. It was at that time that I became part of the pull-out instrumental program teaching elementary strings. We slowly grew the string program until I can proudly say every school now offers strings. This past school year, we provided instrumental music instruction for over 600 4th through 6th grade students, with myself covering most of the string classes and with Karen Blackburn and Richard Shermer covering most of the band classes. My most important point is this: the band and string pull-out program has been part of the history of our RUSD for 36 years. Does the school board and the administration want to go down in history of our district as those responsible for destroying our famous and sought-after instrumental music program? We, the music teachers of RUSD, are counting on your responsible decision to continue our beloved pull-out band and string program, as well as, and in addition to, implementing an incredible 1st through 6th grade music planning program. Thank you. Next we have Katrina Gomez Enriquez.
Hi, my name is Katrina Gomez Enriquez. I'm a parent to 2 kids at Oswald Academy, a 1st grader and a 5th grader, but I'm also a product of the Roland Unified School District and benefited from the general music program of the 90s. In that class, we had music theory, rhythm, cultural educational songs, and it supported things in the classroom such as fractions, rhyme, and iambic pentameter. While that program is not in effect, I'm so happy to say that my 5th grader benefits from the current music program, which targets students not only who have interests, but who have passion for music. He is part of the pull-out band program, the Thursday night band program, and the district mariachi. In these programs, he has been able to support district and community engagement through the Buckboard Day Parade and district-wide concerts and concerts at elementary schools. This program helps create competitive bands, not only at the elementary level, but at the junior high level and at the high school level, as many of you talked about, Nogales going to the Macy Day Parade. I believe this attracts students and keeps students in our district, and it would be beneficial. To go back, stakeholders requested it was said that stakeholders requested a program that doesn't require a choice between core instruction and music instruction. I believe this was meant as a program in addition to the band program, as it was in the 90s. Students who have made the choice to be in programs now know that they must make up their core education materials and keep up with their classwork. The choice between music and core education actually prepares these students for balancing their extracurricular activities and higher grades. In addition, these students actually at Oswald make up a vast majority of the high honors and principal honor roll students. It actually becomes a source of motivation and a source of pride in their school and district. This proposed expansion program, which I believe is more a replacement program, will only benefit grades 1 through 3 and children not only in the program. First, as Mr. Sherman said, first year and third year instrumental students may be taught by the same teachers, which may be very difficult and may lead to a teach to middle approach to it. to instruction. I believe this will lead to a decrease in passion and a decrease in the depth of musical instruction for students already in the music program. As a parent of a first grader, I believe it's important that we do open the program up to more students. However, new music opportunities being wonderful, they should not come at the cost of the music educational experience of current music students already engaged and bright in these programs. I hope that the board and everyone in the planning committee takes these into consideration. Thank you.
Next we have Maria Bernal, and I apologize if I said that wrong.
Hello and good evening to everyone present here today. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Maria Junica, and I am the upcoming junior secretary over at Nogales High School. I am part of the Nogales Associate Student Body and also the dance team, which Ms. Nelson is also in charge of. Today I am here on the subject about Ms. Nelson being removed as our advisor in Nogales in the Associated Student Body. And I have been lucky enough to work with Ms. Nelson the past 2 years and soon to be 3 years. It breaks my heart to see her have to go because of recent decisions that have been made by our administration. And it was explained to us that the reason she was being removed as our advisor was because the new administration wanted the best fitting staff for every job. In my opinion, Ms. Nelson is already perfect for the job in every way possible. She devotes herself to her work, and being by her side and experiencing her energy and passion has inspired me to better myself as a student and as a member of society. She gives her all towards everything she does. I was so excited to be working with her and being able to finish my full 4 years with her. She is my instructor, but she also cares for us so much that I consider her as more than just that. She doesn't just help us in the organization, but she also does her best to try and help us with our everyday lives. She makes sure we are doing okay and gives us advice if we happen to be experiencing any problems. Everything I just mentioned ties into why we all believe she should stay. I would like to say thank you for being given the opportunity to speak freely about my opinion on this subject, and thank you as well for listening. I hope you take everything I just mentioned into consideration.
Thank you. Jackie Bennett.
Good evening, board, friends, superintendent, cabinet, all my friends, parents, former parents out there. I taught in the Yerbita here in New Orleans for 35 years. It was a family, and because it was a family, I'm still engaged with family members that have contacted me to talk to me about what I think is going on at Nogales High School. I want to address the fact that my concern is that the Noble family are many of my former friends and students. My questions to the board are, where do our district's core values in integrity, respect, and excellence fit in at Nogales, as I hear of so many injustices? What kind of example are our students witnessing with the current Nogales High School administration? Just a few items of concern. The prom, which normally was an ASB-led event, became an administration event. Grad night, instead of teachers volunteering, were instructed that they'd be there. Student files being rummaged through 2 days prior to a graduation. Am I going to get to graduate? Staff being released without remediation. Nogales High School tradition not respected, no senior wall. Lack of respect for needs of community by removing classes like sewing and life skills. Auto shop may be next. Not all Nogales High School students are college bound, but all are society bound and want jobs. The LCAP Goal 2, career ready, was mentioned tonight. Let cheer squad directors go after championship years. Let former Nogales High School counselor go because she was not a Nogales fit? She was a former student, spoke Spanish, and certainly knew the community. She could have been a great example to her students. IBAP students told extracurricular activities are not recommended. I want to conclude with a fact about Ms. Nelson and how she meets the district's vision of excellence. She certainly exemplifies commitment to Nogales students as demonstrated by her actions on a daily basis. You talked about in LCAP Section 6, Goal 6, excellent leadership. She's your excellent leadership.
Go, girl.
Garcia.
Hello everybody, my name is Nathan Dwenitz and I am the upcoming junior president at Nogales High School. Before I continue, I would like to first thank the board and everyone else here for this opportunity to openly express my opinion in an environment where my voice can be heard. That being said, I would like to focus your
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, board members, and members of the community. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I was the ASB Executive President for this previous school year at Nogales High School. I am here today, along with the rest of these people, to express to you guys how strongly we disagree with some of the decisions our administration has made this previous school year. One of the decisions I'd like to speak about specifically is a decision that was made to remove Ms. Nelson as the ASB advisor. I was in ASB for my entire high school career, and during that time I had the opportunity to work with Ms. Nelson very closely, and I got the chance to see how hard she truly works. She has held the position for 9 years now, and she has always mentioned that she enjoyed what she did and wanted to continue doing her job. I am not alone in the belief that she is excellent at her job, and that leaves us wondering why that decision was made. We have been told that as students we aren't allowed to know that information, which leaves me wondering who is allowed that information and if those decisions are just being made behind closed doors. And although I understand and will respect that as students we can't know that information, I still believe we shouldn't be left in the dark, and we should get some sort of explanation since those decisions affect us as students at the end of the day. This isn't the first time we attempt to bring this to your attention, but ever since the beginning we were told that there was nothing that could be done and we needed to accept the decision. As I mentioned previously, that is only one of our concerns about some of the decisions administration has made this previous school year. This previous school year has been full of change at Nogales High School, and we believe that it wasn't all for the better. While making those changes, our fairly new administration didn't bother to look into our traditions at Nogales High School and went ahead with those changes. When we initially brought our concerns up to them, we were told we didn't have traditions. I, along with many others, was insulted and continued to ask them to reconsider their decisions. After several letters and a peaceful protest, action was finally taken, and that seems to be a common theme with our administration. Very little gets done until drastic, unnecessary measures are taken. We hope that this isn't the case with the board, and that after listening to my and my fellow nobles' concerns, some action is taken. Thank you so much for your time.
Good evening, my name is Jasmine Yee, and I have previously held the position of Nogales High School's 2015 ASB Executive President. In the year that I have graduated from my alma mater, I have received multiple concerns about its current state. For those of you who may not know, students from Nogales High School hold our noble traditions close to our heart. A year ago, I thought that I had left Nogales High School in the hands of a promising leadership, in the hands of a principal that assured me that our traditions would stay put, and the two visions of Nogales High School and his were to mend into one. Today, I see a list of things that have been changed to fit another person, another school, and a whole nother entity's image. I was once proud to be called a noble, and today I am not, because the traditions that have been placed since I stepped onto that stomping ground as a freshman have been altered and changed to fit one individual's visions. With that, the heart of Nogales High School has been distorted, and I fear for future generations, as they will not be able to achieve the same benefits and lessons that I've been greatly blessed with. Because although my alma mater has been remodeled and built beautifully since I have graduated, the appearance on the outside plays no importance if the inside has been destroyed. I stand before you today to bring to light a certain removal of Ms. Donna Nelson as Nogales' ASB advisor with Dr. Nassuf. Ms. Nelson has held her position with the utmost respect and has served it well. She is able to bring attention to the most important life lessons to her students with her guidance and encouragement. Without her, I would personally not have been where I am today. I would have not been accepted into UC San Diego. I would have not been asked to plan numerous events as a first year for my school organization, and I would have not been asked to be a student ambassador for widely known corporations such as Adobe and Uber. The importance of networking, negotiating, fundraising, and fighting has led me to achieve all of this and so much more, and these lessons cannot be taught through an ordinary individual. Ms. Nelson has taught me how to live courageously, how to give compassion to those of different backgrounds, and how to fight regardless of title and demeanor in this world. The associated student body cannot survive without Ms. Nelson because she encompasses diversity, compassion, love, and encouragement. She encompasses everything that Nogales has envisioned. She is Nogales High School, its heart and soul, because you can never find someone who cares more about its students, about their life, their upbringing, and their future more than Miss Donna Nelson. Last year, I sat in these seats as your Nogales representative, and I stand here today to fight for my alma mater, to fight for its future, and to bring to light a predicament that you, as board members, should pay attention to. Board members, you have chosen to sit before us for a purpose. Please, serve your purpose well and listen to the students who are voicing out their concerns today, as the future of Nogales High School is in your hands. Listen to the students fighting for our voice and our message to be heard. Choose education, choose the students, choose tradition. Thank you.
Good evening, board members and Miss Julie. My name is Barbara Matthews, and I am the ASB account clerk at Nogales High School. And I've had that position for the past 22 years. During that time, I have had at least 8 different ASB directors. And it has been very difficult to change directors every year or two. The job of an ASB director is not an easy job, and not a job that you actually learn how to do in college. Some of the other directors have been very nice people and somewhat knowledgeable, but never did get the whole idea of how to run ASB. And some of them were very, very poor with the money management part of the job. Mrs. Nelson has been the ASB director for the past 9 years, and through her work ethic and concern for the students in ASB and not in ASB, our ASB has been very successful. We have always done very well in our yearly audits, and the students have learned so much from Ms. Nelson about leadership and life lessons. She truly goes above what her job requires. I'm very proud to work with Ms. Nelson, and I also consider her my friend. I feel that removing Mrs. Nelson from her position as ASB director was unfair and unjust. I cannot imagine what the reason was for this decision, but I do not believe in my heart that it was a fair and correct decision. I personally would like to know why she was removed from her job. Excuse me. The bottom line is that because Mrs. Nelson has been removed from the position of ASB director and no one with any expertise in this area has taken over, the students again are the losers. There are many other things going on at Nogales High School that I feel the board should be aware of, but I'm not sure that I have time this evening to talk about it. Oh, I don't. If at any time any of you would like to sit down and talk with me about some of my other concerns, I would be very honored to meet with you. Thank you so much for listening to me and considering what I have had to say. I speak of all these things because of my love for Nogales and the wonderful
1 year of teaching will leave a memory on a student. 4 years will impact the life forever of an individual. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Lohman. I was the 2015 Executive Cabinet Secretary. And I am currently an alumni of Nogales High School, and I have been affected by the decision made by the administration of Nogales High to remove Ms. Donna Nelson as ASB director. Ms. Nelson has been the ASB director for more than 9 years, and I'm amazed at what she does. She has impacted the life for the better of the students and others, and she goes above and beyond of what is expected of her. She believes in her students when they can't find the light in themselves to aspire for greatness. Some of you may wonder why it affects me. I have younger siblings, and I try my best to help my younger brother achieve his goals, but I know that the one person who has helped me, I can see why, who has helped me will not be there to help my siblings. We come from a background where we are told that we are no good and will never amount to anything besides being on the streets and asking for change. Please excuse my language when I say this. I apologize in advance. Oh, I'm sorry. I was told that only prostitutes and crackheads are the only people allowed to be in the streets at night when I would stay late for ASB rally run-throughs and cheer practices. Ms. Nelson changed me and pushed me harder to reach for success and nothing less of what I deserved. Nogales has lost 2 great cheer coaches who took cheerleaders to victory every competition they went to. They're losing many teachers because they decide that they do not want to be under the reign of Mr. Nassuf. Out of all these losses, all we ask is to not let them lose a caring, kind-hearted director like Ms. Nelson. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Elena Orellana, and I am the 2016 to 2017 Executive Vice President. During these past 3 years starting the junior year, there was a drastic amount of changes. One that affected me greatly was the change to the IB program. Suddenly, after hearing for so many years that anyone who was willing to take the challenge could take that opportunity and could take those classes, had the chance to get into the program if they wanted to, suddenly last year, during first semester, near the end, once we had all started preparing for that opportunity, suddenly we were told that only certain students would be able to attend. The requirements were that you were only supposed to have A's and B's to be able to get into that program. However, only one semester was looked into to make those changes. So many students were restricted their chances of getting into that program. So now only certain amounts of students have been able to get into the IB program and be able to take those rigorous classes. Aside from that, near the end of last school year, we were also told that our ASB advisor, Ms. Nelson, will not be able to continue her position as an ASB member. This was, I just can never really understand what was the reasoning behind this decision, as Ms. Nelson, she is the building block of Nogales High School traditions. To everyone who this was brought up to, they would, when they were told about this, this news that she wasn't going to be the ASB advisor, they were all surprised because they all say no one knows Nogales High School, no one understands the students of Nogales High School as well as Ms. Nelson does. I just joined ASB a year and a half ago, and this year and a half I met Ms. Nelson, and she taught me so much things along the way, and she always motivated us, and she gave us experience that I cannot imagine someone else would be able to give that to us. Not only does she teach us stuff that will help us in ASB and in school, but she teaches lifelong lessons. And this type of advisor, I cannot imagine finding someone else. Someone as experienced as Ms. Nelson,
and someone who will be as helpful as Ms. Nelson. Instead, we will get someone who, someone who will not have the same, someone who will be able to continue our traditions and give us the same lessons as Ms. Nelson was able to give all of us, which is why I feel that this is one of the most unfair decisions that this school has made.
One late submission card, Sharon Carrillo.
I'm sorry, I should have been up front. My name is Sharon Carrillo. I work in the technology department, and I'm also the CSCA president. I've been an employee here at Roland for 21 years. And I'm very happy about that, because when I started, I never thought I would be anywhere for 21 years. You just don't think of that. And now I'm considering retiring. Not for a few more years, but I am considering it. I'm very proud to work here at Roland. And anybody that knows me, I tell that to everybody. I'm all the time promoting Roland wherever I go. Last month, I attended a meeting at Walnut School District, and I bragged about how great our district is. And I encouraged everyone there to come work at Roland. And they were asking me, they were very interested, because I am proud to work here. I want people to come here and work. It's a great place to be. Over the past several months, I've been listening to some negative comments and remarks, and I've been thinking about it, and it's really been bothering me. So I wanted to speak about that. I just wanted to share a few of my thoughts on it. Personally, and on behalf of CSCA, we do not want Julie, Dennis, Sabrina, or Judy to step down. We have enjoyed a positive relationship with them, and we're excited that Roland is moving forward. There was a very dark period of time here, and we are wanting to forget that. And we're working towards that. And we are doing that now under the leadership of Julie Mitchell, and we thank you for that. As an employee and the CSCA president, I'm involved in many activities and functions here at Roland, because I believe in being a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. I encourage everyone here to consider doing the same. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for all the comments this evening and the professionalism as well. It was greatly appreciated. And I'm glad that you guys stayed for so long. You can feel free to leave if you'd like, or you can stay. It's up to you. Next, we're going to move on. Did anybody need a break? You guys good? You need a break? Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break. 5 minutes. Planned the public hearing to be held pursuant to California Department of Education Code 52062 regarding the LCAP to solicit the recommendations and comments of members of the public regarding the specific actions and expenditures proposed to be included in the LCAP or annual update to the LCAP. Public hearing will open at 10:10 p.m. Financial management software system.
I move.
I have a motion by Ms. Ebbingkamp. A second by Ms. Friedman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to approve contract between Smart Tools Inc. and Roland Unified School District for purchase of integrated K-12 financial management software system, piggyback bid WSH 15-12B. May I get a motion to approve contract agreement between Smart Tools Inc., piggyback bid WSH 15-12B, and Roland Unified School District for the purchase of Smart Finance and Smart HR systems? I have a motion by Mr. Chin. A second by Ms. Friedman. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a ratified change order number 13 for purchase order number A800336 to Echo Pacific Construction, Inc., Nogales High School Revival bid number 2013/144. All of the information there is attached. May I get a motion to ratify change order for Nogales High School Revival project? I have a motion by Ms. Friedman.
Second.
A second by Ms. Evankamp. All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Discussion? Sorry. Discussion?
I just have a couple of questions. I don't want to go through all these. I'm not going to. It's late at night. But some of these items, it seems like they should have been in the original bid. When I look at some of these, and they talk about tie in the serving kitchen window with the fire alarm system. You think that would have been part of the original bid when they put the fire alarm system in, that the window would be tied in? I mean, that's a common thing to have a serving window, and now they have to go in afterwards and to pay for this. There's just a lot of these rerouting of the heating ventilation system and ducting, which conflicts with structural elements. Where's the architect or the engineer on this? On the original drawings. Reconnect existing irrigation valve to reclaim water. Whoever disconnected it needs to reconnect it. I mean, it just goes on in here that I question some of these, that why they weren't taken care of with the original bid order on this.
We have some of the same questions and we weren't present, but I heard.
Yeah, I know, I understand that.
Mr. Chin?
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Melton, and you look at it, there's about so many items, and further is some of the items initiated by the district, by us.
Yes.
So this thing, some of them I look at it should be done before that. So how could it happen? So many items have to be initiated by us.
When you're doing an expansion or construction project the size of what we've done at Nogales, I mean, as you've done even some smaller projects that, we've done projects at home, once a project gets started, there are things that you request that be done differently or something be changed. And those are items that we realize for function or operation of the school, there are some items the district has needed to request. There are some other items, as Mr. Malkin has pointed out, and that you have as well, Mr. Chen, that there are things that should have been clearer in the architectural drawings on the original onset of the project. They could have been included in the original bid and were not. And so when you're going through a build, it wasn't as if we're undoing something and taking walls down to do any of these changes. It's in the process of while something is happening that we realize that it needs some additional clarity.
I would learn from this, and I should minimize this project and then work myself.
But yes, that is what our plan has been. We've gone through several plan checks before this project was taken out to bid. It is very normal and customary that change orders will occur. So you just approved the bid for Roland High School Additions project. It would be erroneous of me or irresponsible of me to tell the board that there will never be a change order. There will be change orders on that project, but hopefully we have caught through multiple levels of review of the architectural drawings before it ever went to bid, that many of those were caught prior to the bid.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes, I was wondering, why does an architect have to add the paper towel dispenser to maintenance and operations building freight for $127? I don't understand why an architect would have to do that.
It's the TSA.
It's for ADA requirements that the architect is saying that we have to do that.
So it costs so much to do that. Okay.
But again, those should have been planned, checked beforehand.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a request for permission to issue a request for proposal, RFP, for long-range facilities master plan. May I get a motion to approve issuance of the RFP for long-range master plan? I have a motion by Donna Friedman. No, I was gonna make the motion, I was just still talking. I have a motion by Donna Friedman.
Second.
A second by Lynn Evankamp. Discussion? All in favor? You gotta move quick. Go ahead.
The long range plan, do we have such a plan currently approved?
So our current long-range facilities master plan is out of date. We do have our plan documents that's been presented to the board, shows through 2021 through previous presentations that our staff has made. But in terms of looking at a long-term facilities master plan, that's what this is for. That's what this is a request, that we have someone assist us with the building of that plan.
What year we looked at it? What year?
Well, that would, again, we'll take the RFP out and work with a consultant on that. And generally what occurs when you're requesting a long-range facilities master plan is you look at a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and then how do you continue to upgrade it and keep it going? And staff would be able to do that once it's been established.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have Educator Effectiveness Block Grant for the 2016-17 academic year. Approve the Educator Effectiveness Grant Plan as reviewed at the May 24th, 2016 board meeting. May I get a motion? I have a motion by Ms. Friedman.
Second.
Second by Mr. Chin. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course and instructional material adoption, current events. I need a motion to adopt the course current events for Roland Unified School District students in grades 7 through 8. I have a motion by Ms. Friedman. A second by Mr. Chin. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course and instructional material adoption, visual arts. I need a motion to adopt the course Visual Arts and the Instructional Materials Art in Action Enrichment Program Kit 1 and Art in Action Enrichment Program 2 for Roland Unified School District students in grades 7 and 8. I have a motion by Donna Friedman. A second by Lynn Evankamp. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course and instructional material adoption, advanced robotics. I need a motion to adopt the course advanced robotics and the instructional materials EV3 Mindstorms robots for RUSD students in grades 7 through 8. I have a motion by Lynn Evankamp.
Second.
Second by Donna Friedman. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course and instructional material adoption ROP pre-engineering. Adopt the course ROP pre-engineering and the instructional material textbooks pre-engineering essentials and the People's Physics book for RUSD students in grades 9 through 12. May I get a motion? I have a motion by Ms. Friedman. A second by Mr. Chin. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course and instructional material adoption ROP robotics. I need a motion to adopt the course ROP robotics and the instructional materials technology of the EV3 Mindstorm robots in the Arduino robotics kit for Roland Unified School students in grades 9 through 12. I have a motion by Ms. Friedman. A second by Mr. Chin. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Course and instructional material adoption, SERVE. I need a motion to adopt the course SERVE SERVE for Roland Unified School District students in grades 9 through 12, and note that SERVE stands for Social, Emotional, Recreational, Vocational Education. May I get a motion? I have a motion by Donna Friedman. A second by Mr. Chin. Discussion?
Just a comment, at the meeting for the textbooks, the gentleman explained this program to me and it is so wonderful. He's already gone to, and someone else that works with him has gone to the junior highs and I've talked to the kids And one question I had for him is if a student had a 1.0 average, and if they went up to 1.5, do you praise them? And he said, absolutely. So this is a great thing for our kids. I just think I've never heard of such a great program. And I think it will help all the kids at risk, and they stay with them throughout the years, then they become leaders. So outstanding.
Great.
I have a question on it. I spent a great deal of time talking to the individual also, and this is a unique class that the gentleman who I talked to is his father, who's a minister that started the class. And it used to be called SERVES, S-E-R-V-E-S initially, S for spirituality. And my concern is that I'm in support of the concept. I think it's a wonderful concept because it gets down to the basis of what's causing some of the behavior that could be problems in the future. My concern is it's a quasi-counseling class, basically what it turns out to be, with people teaching it that aren't licensed as counselors. And my question is, do we have a system in place to monitor this class to make sure that it stays focused with the curriculum that we're going to approve for the class, that it doesn't go off to the right or to the left in areas it shouldn't go off into?
So this particular class is going to be piloted at just one of our high schools next year. It is brought to us and will be monitored by a counselor. And so the gentleman that you spoke to is a school counselor at the school. And so he will be the point person for this program. This program has been in existence in a neighboring school district for a number of years, and I was able to contact that school district and have conversations. With the schools that has had that program, they have not had any issues with it being, I think perhaps your question might be that it turns to a religious conversation, and that has not ever been an issue.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course and instructional material adoption for AP Human Geography. I need a motion to adopt the course AP Human Geography and the textbook, The Cultural Landscape AP Edition for RUSD students in grades 9 through 12. I have a motion by Donna Friedman. Second by Carrie Chen. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have courses and instructional material adoption for AP Computer Science Principles. I need a motion to adopt the course AP Computer Science Principles and the instructional materials code.org Computer Science Principles for RUSD students in grades 9 through 12. I have a motion by Donna Friedman. Second by Lynn Evankamp. Discussion?
Real quickly, I spoke to the teacher, and he's very excited to teach this class. And it has to be a math teacher that teaches it, which is very interesting. But his background was in technology and everything, so he's excited, and it sounds like a great course.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course revisions and instructional materials adoptions for AP United States Government and Politics. I need a motion to adopt the textbooks Government in America with ebook and workbook and the Lanahan readings in the American, in the American, what is that? Polity. I'm sorry, that's a new word for me. American Polity for RUSD students in grades 9 through 12. May I get a motion? I have a motion by Donna Friedman. A second by Carrie Chen. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course revision and instructional material adoption for AP Macroeconomics. I need a motion to adopt the textbook Kreckman's Economics for AP with e-text for RUSD students in grades 9 through 12. I have a motion by Donna Friedman. Second by Carrie Chen. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course revision and instructional material adoption for AP English Language and Composition. I need a motion to adopt the textbooks, The Language of Composition, and They Say, I Say, The Moves That Matter in Academic Writing with readings for Roland Unified students in grades 9 through 12. I have a motion by Donna Friedman. Second by Lynn Evankamp. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have course revision and instructional material adoption for AP English Literature and Composition. I need a motion to adopt the textbook Norton Introduction to Literature and the Bedford Glossary of Critical and Literary Terms for RUSD students in grades 9 through 12. I have a motion by Donna Friedman.
Second.
A second by Carrie Chin. All in favor? Or discussion? I'm sorry, discussion?
Yes.
You never say anything, so I forget you're down there.
Comment. This is actually addressing both 7Q and 7R when we get to it. You know, the books themselves, I cannot say yes or no, basically as far as the quality or the appropriateness of the book. I mean, that's up to the teachers who have the expertise in that area. But what I can look at is the process of how these books were selected, what type of scrutiny they went through. And I attended the book reviewing of these, but prior to that, I went to the math book review about a month or 2 months before that. And what I appreciated when I looked at those books was that they had the book that they selected, and then they had 2 books that they didn't select. And they were able to explain to me why they selected this book over the other 2. And they did a pilot program for 6 weeks because it was an existing curriculum that they already had in place. A lot of these that we are approving tonight don't have an existing curriculum. English language and English literature do already have an existing curriculum. I appreciate that they're AP classes and they're kind of guided towards certain authors because of AP classes, but you have more than one choice. And when I asked why these were selected, to a great degree they were selected based on recommendations from peers at conferences, which is good because peer recommendation is a good recommendation. But there were other ones that they could look at, which they didn't have, quote, time to look at. So as far as process is concerned, I would appreciate in the future when we have these books of existing courses, that if they look at additional books, they have those there. And they explain to us why they picked this one over these other 2. In addition to that, some books, not all, but some, will have supplemental materials or a teacher's version. AP don't always have that, but if they do have those resources, that they have those present also to show what they're going to, have when we purchase these books, what we're going to get with the books. So I really think that we need to somewhat tighten up our review of these books if we're going to spend time looking at them. For me, just to go there and have the books there without understanding why they were picked really doesn't benefit me and it doesn't benefit them. So I really would like to have more information on the process and why these books were selected. And the finally is, there was no pilot done on these English books. And that's a difficult thing for me to swallow because, I don't want somebody to purchase these books and then next year come up and say, these are terrible books, we can't use them anymore. We need a different book. With the math books, they piloted them for 6 weeks. So whenever possible, I would highly encourage piloting the books.
When I asked about piloting, I also was told that we couldn't pilot the brand new courses.
Right, I understand that.
Time.
But
it seems as though if it's not a new course,
right,
there would be time to pilot them.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, please note that as per amended prior to the start of the board meeting, that this is an action item and not a discussion item. Textbook adoption, mathematics grades 6 through 8. I need a motion to approve the adoption of the Houghton-Mifflin-Harcott's Big Ideas for use 608406708. And for grade 8, Larson Big Ideas, California Student Ed Course 3, 2015, ISBN number 9781608406722. May I get a motion? I have a motion by Donna Friedman.
Second.
A second by Lynn Evankamp. All in favor? Or discussion? David?
I just want to say that these books were piloted, and not only that, what I appreciated on these books, and I don't know if it's an incentive or not, but they are interactive with their cell phones. So there's QR codes that they can use to get additional videos, and I think that will help encourage the students to use these books because of that cell phone interaction on them. That's it.
Ms. Ebbinghaam?
I have a question for Dr. Mitchell. Why is this a special adoption and all the other books we've been moving to adopt and vote on? You mentioned that this book this one is an action item. We've been actioning on every one of them.
That's correct. In one of the areas in the print of the agenda, it said discussion versus action. So we needed to amend the agenda so that the public knew it was a voting item.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have pupil personnel. RUSD student number 13-1410, readmission from expulsion. Can I get a motion to readmit student 13-1410 to the Rolling Unified School District effective June 15, 2016? I have a motion by Donna Friedman.
Second.
A second by Lynn Ebbinghaam. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have RUSD student number 15-1613, readmission from expulsion. May I get a motion to readmit student 15-1613 to the Rolling Unified School District effective June 15, 2016? I have a motion by Carrie Chin. A second by Lynn Ebbinghaam. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have our USD student 15-1615 suspended expulsion. May I get a motion to approve the suspended expulsion of student number 15-1615 effective June 15, 2016 with placement at Santana High School beginning fall of 2016? I have a motion by Carrie Chin. A second by Donna Friedman. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Angie, the one before that, I don't think that you said suspension. I think you said readmission, and that's why I didn't.
There was the readmission from expulsion, then there was a readmission from expulsion, a second readmission from expulsion, and then there's the third one is suspended expulsion. That's the one we just did. Now we're on suspended, the second suspended expulsion. That's okay. Trust me, I get confused too over here. So we voted, right? All in favor was aye? Yeah, motion carries. Our USD student number 15-1616 suspended expulsion. May I get a motion to approve the suspended expulsion of student number 15-1616 effective June 15, 2016 with placement at Santana High School beginning fall of 2016? I have a motion by Donna Friedman. A second by Carrie Chin. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the consent item with one item pulled, and that item is 9B13. So, all matters listed under consent calendar are considered by the Board of Education to be routine or sufficiently supported by prior or accompanying reference material and information not requiring additional discussion. They will be enacted by a motion as referenced below. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the Board of Education votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed, added to, or deleted from the consent calendar for a separate action. Members of the public may request that a specific item be removed from the consent calendar by completing the written request to address the board form card and present it to the Secretary of the Board in accordance with Board Bylaw 9322. All consent items are indicated by the designation after the item title. May I get a motion to approve and or ratify items on the consent calendar with the removal of agenda item 9B13 for separate discussion and action? I have a motion by Donna Friedman. A second by Carrie Chin. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So now we will move to, hold on. Oh, I don't have page numbers. Can I just look at yours? So next we have request to deem books, textbooks, or obsolete instructional materials and approve sale of obsolete books and textbooks. May I get a motion to approve the sale of obsolete books, textbooks to a reselling company, declare the attached list of books, textbooks as obsolete, and approve the sale of obsolete books, textbooks to a resale company?
I move.
I have a motion by Lynn Evenkamp, a second by Carrie Chin. Discussion?
I put this item because you showed the attachment of the list of the books. Yeah.
Gotta go into it.
Yeah, I could.
So, we have to go on the left, then. We're familiar with that document, Carrie, if you would like to continue the conversation while I just pull it up.
Yeah, I had to explain to me the top row, the quantity, what is that? 1.0, and did it say how many books or how many?
The quantity is how many books there are of that title,
One book.
of that title and that ISBN number.
So what is the use statute be?
Is that for used book?
It's used book, yes.
Every used book?
Yes, they're all used.
So there are two books?
It's two books.
Two books and one book?
Two books, yeah.
Why is it 2/0? It's like use something or use something?
Are these
Unit
textbooks?
per box. Unit per box. So it's not a complete box, it's only two books, it's only one book, it's only one book, it's only one book.
Only one book.
Yes.
So are these textbooks, obsolete textbooks? So how come it's only one book? I thought it's so many.
Because that's all we had, and that's all that was left was 1994 copyright, that's all there was. So these are just obsolete books that have been left over, and they've been accumulated, and it's time to discard them, they need to get space.
Where are these books?
These books are currently at the PRC building.
So they're not currently
They're
used
not
and
currently
obsolete by students in some
No,
way?
sir, they're not currently used, they're very old.
So next question is, one of the items on page 3 is all others are, the value is 0, and one of the items is 0.7 cent and 1 cent. So why only that book has the value, the other is 0?
Because I talked to one of the publishing companies that was able to help inventory the books and see if there's any value to them. And the only value that they were able to find was in some cases like 0.74 cents, or because no other school district or nobody else there's no value to these books. They're so outdated that there's no value to them.
So only one book has.
Yes.
So it's.
Yes.
Okay, you answered my question. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, you'll note as a procedural that there is the conference session and there's informational report of conference attendance. That is an information item only. And next, we will have board member comments, and we will start a rotation from now on with board member comments as well. So, Ms. Friedman, you get to go first.
Look at that, poor David. Okay, well, let's see. I did a lot in the last month. It was a busy month. First was Oswald Academy Open House, and Kevin Desport greeted me, and he had actually went to Oswald in 8th grade. Some teachers are still there when he attended. They first had a PTA meeting, and they gave assignments of jobs, a Halloween assembly. A lot of parents were there, and teachers were present. All those parents work hard. They have 1,187 members. 63,000 they have earned, raised, and the PTA president had been there for 11 years, and the child was going to 8th grade, so she was leaving.
They had the blue ribbon celebration with the community, which was very exciting. All the 6th graders were dancing for the parents in a group before open house started. And then Mr. Despard took me around to all the 3rd through 8th grade classrooms. We wanted to go to more, but there wasn't enough time. And so many wonderful projects in 8th grade. An 8th grade teachers had said, wait till you get to 5th grade and you see their projects. And several classrooms had a laptop on their desk. And they had all their projects the whole year on their laptop, which was amazing. Scanning of things to watch a video of a student explaining their projects was evident in a lot of classrooms. 21st century was present everywhere with technology. I met the Spanish teacher who teaches Spanish to over 700 students and loves it. As we would leave classrooms, teachers would point to the principal and say, he's really good. I've never seen that before. Parents came up to hug him and say, what a great school. Then I went and attended Via Corda open house and saw performances. They sang songs like I Want to Try Everything. Kindergarten sang The World is a Rainbow. 1st grade, they did Cinderella, and they all dressed up the teachers as different Cinderella from all over the world. It was very interesting. Heard parents say have seen improvement. At the exit, it said, I will do my best on the SBAC test, which I thought was very good. At Roaramore Open House, the kindergarten and pre-K had pictures of them in a cap and gown at their doorway with writing. That was really very good to see. Dual language classes, math drill, the mom said, the teacher asked the mom, are you impressed? Animal dioramas, 5-year-old homeschool, tested 2nd grade level, dual language, picking up Spanish. So somebody was homeschooled but came in and was tested at 2nd grade, and they were able to meet their, what helped them at their level. At Jellic Open House, the custodian saw me and said, oh, welcome to Jellic, which was so nice. They had a digital star lab, a 4 through 5 class. Mr. Luna, I was talking to him, telling me that he was he's excited about the Google Drive, and he shares with others at other schools. Laptops were on all the desks. The 5th graders had a meeting after open house to talk about Science Camp and next year and new robotics. Angelic Creativity Lab was coming soon for all grades, exploring challenges. 8,000 pieces of Legos will be part of that. Green screen and more. The Employees Recognition Awards with the teachers and classified together was outstanding. Mariachi and beginning band at Giano, I went there and there were 34 students that performed. I met Bill Hines, a teacher there that came on his day off and said that he's been teaching there for 35 years and saw him get his award at the last meeting. Roland Council PTA election and installation of the Executive Board and Achievement Awards was very nice. And Nogales Senior Honors was nice. And the adult graduation, Rocky did an outstanding job, and it was so nice to see the young kids and the adults get their awards. And lastly, Roland High School graduation, I had no idea that us board members would be passing out their diploma and shaking their hands. And I must say that was one of the best things that I've ever participated in my whole entire life. To see these kids come up, hand it to them, shake their hand, and say congratulations, and most of them said thank you, and it was just breathtaking to see all of that, and it was just wonderful to be a part of that, and I hope everyone has a wonderful summer. Thank you.
Start with to congratulate Chief Don Bernal and the honor he received, and proud of him and proud of the school district. And I also congratulate other graduates. June is the graduate month, and attend Roland High School graduation, and Alvarado, the honor evening, and the other school graduation. And I want to say thank you to Teresa and the Flores and Ms. Kim for the presentation. It was a lot of work on that, and especially Mr. Flores and Rosanna. They give me information about the software Smarty we're going to implement, and I'm very excited about that software, and that will improve the efficiency and make everybody's job much easier for the information, and the function of the the software will help us help the school site administrators help a lot, increase the efficiency and make the things much easier. And that is something I have been waiting for a long time to get the information from your department, Mr. Flores. So give us an update of the progress, how we implemented it. And the new course serve, so my colleague board members already spoke during the meeting, and I also spoke with Justin, he's a counselor. I'm very happy, and I think our district is very fortunate to have him. And that program is initiated and developed by his father, and it's only one district, which is in Rio Grande, I believe, and Valencia High School had that, and we're very fortunate to have him to join us and start that and to help the kids who need that help, that kind of help. And during the conversation, I asked him if he can come to the board and present 3 minutes and tell us and tell the community how we agree with that. So I hope in the future we have opportunity to have him to promote that course in the community so that more people know about that. And that's a very positive thing. And that's about it. And thank you.
First of all, I want to thank staff for their reports. They were timely for us. We had the questions if necessary, and I do appreciate that. And Ms. Healy, thank you for clarifying no acronyms tonight. And Mr. Flores, thank you for numbering the pages on the PowerPoint. Thank you very much. It's been kind of a sad tonight hearing from the staff and the students, but we'll work with them and try to get things worked out so it's better for all our students.
It's getting late. I did a lot of things, attended a lot of things. That's that part. What I want to spend my time on is a happy occasion, and that's having the staff and the teachers and the students speak here. You know, they have API and they got rid of that. Now they're trying to think of a new rubric, you know, how to evaluate schools. My recommendation is board meetings. I am so impressed with the way the students spoke tonight. You know, they go through and they want to learn English composition, critical thinking, community organization, public speaking. They did all that tonight, and they did it perfectly. And I'm so proud of that, that to me, having them here and speak was the highlight of my 1 year of being up here. I'm also proud of the teachers that came, the music teachers. You know, I received so many phone calls and letters and everything, and they were so angry. And when they got up here, they presented very professional presentation. The anger was taken out of it, and it was very factual, and I appreciate that from them for doing that. And then the parents to come here, I thought was great to have the parent support here. And finally, the unions. You know, they came up, they said, let's work together, interest-based bargaining, carry it over. And I'm just so proud of our students, the parents, the community, and the teachers. So to me, that was the highlight of tonight. And that's all I have to say.
I do want to echo what Mr. Malkin said about the students' presentations today. Not only was I struck by their professionalism and the words that they said, but how they came. Their appearance. They took the time to put on shirts and ties and jackets, and that just really said a lot about them and their character. Like David, I'm not going to go through what I did. All I want to say to everybody is, growth is painful, change is painful, but there's nothing more painful than staying stuck where you are and not moving forward. However, as we move forward, we always must be mindful of who we are here to serve and what our obligation is to the students of this district. Those of you I won't see at the next meeting, I wish you all a very happy summer. And for those of you who have to be here at the next meeting, see you in a couple of weeks. If there's nothing else, then I'd like a motion for the meeting to be adjourned. I have a motion by Donna Friedman.
I'll second that.
Oh, now he wants to second something. Second by David Malkin. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? David? No? You're opposed? Okay, motion carries. Have a good night.
Contact us all and get us
As
together.
usual, we have a
For lunch
open
or
mic
something.
here if anybody wants to.
Yes.
Anything
All
to
right.
say.
Yep. Wear out the rest out.